Hello everyone, Conor here. Just as a small disclaimer, some things we may talk about on the pod shouldn't be attempted or recreated. Remember to keep everything legal, keep it between the hedges, and don't tear up the ground while you're on the pull.
Am I going to get wrecked or anything tonight? Is this, because I was in the middle of it, basically.
So we're going just candid now.
Aye. We're this is a bit of a different start. We're sitting here recording, waiting on our guest. We were supposed to be recording this section last night.
Well, we started recording this section last night. We started
recording the section last night, and unbeknown to me, I was getting my doing for my wedding. So I was like, went, sat, tried to figure out, started messing about. Someone outside the shed.
Sorry, Michael.
You absolute and you've got this right on the camera.
You can come Hollywood or
You absolute ball bags, this is fucking hilarious. Good luck carrying me. You prick. Conor, you knew about this too, didn't you?
oh, he fucking organised it. Alright, he wants to get armed.
Well, I'm going to need more
We're just chilling out the seat.
Whoa! You did not think this through, boys.
I'm heavy.
What's the camera? What's the bucket?
Bring that way.
I don't know. Yeah, Michael, let's work like it. Come on.
Ready? Conor, that work, mate. Technical difficulty.
I don't know how you held a straight face. And looking back at the video, so obviously we watched it last night.
Was there telltale signs from me?
100%. As soon as I watched the video, you were playing with your hands and your face was going redder and redder and redder and redder and redder. But I didn't see at the time because I was talking away about the MacBook I got, which, to summarise, because we talked about this all last night, I got a Mac because my Windows laptop shit the bed while rendering the video. Started with Stephen Keely's video, episode 64. It tried rendering it 3 times, wouldn't work. I took the video out, put the video back in again, and it worked. So thought nothing of it. Went again to do episode 65, the one we did with Hugh, and ended up, Hugh, Joe and Dylan and Adam and ourselves, and ended up, basically it wouldn't render. 22 times, it blue screen of death on me. I got no sleep last weekend trying, and
you weren't well?
Wasn't well, and bought a MacBook Pro M1 Max 2021 second hand. Wasn't scary money. It was dear enough. Well, wedding coming up.
To be honest with you got it very, very worth the money.
Aye, and
because I was sort of thinking, right, so I'm quite a bit of a nerd, as if any long-term listeners, I suppose, used to work in a phone shop, and I've always sort of been into technology, but way back, whenever you were getting the other laptop, sort of said at the time, look, probably, I obviously know you're used with Windows, you like to know what you're using, you're used with it, it worked for you.
Yeah.
There's an internal graphics card in this laptop.
NVIDIA, yeah.
It's like
16 gig RAM.
Basically, it's
1 terabyte SSD. She was a strong laptop.
And then I kept at you saying, look, with the odd, whenever you're doing the 3-part with the possibly 4th, God knows when that's going to be on the way. Videos with Fiat, MacBooks, they're not tailored for gaming. They're all like the way so basically it used to be MacBooks had Intel processors and they use internal graphics, I think, and possibly graphics cards too. But then Apple, being so tight-knit in their own integration, they've been making their own chips for the iPhone since iPhone 5. And essentially then they made their own from 2020 or 2021.
2020.
So it started with M1, and I can mind whenever the reviews came out for them there that a lot of the reviewers would have said either there's going to be a massive leap in battery life because of the ARM-based processors. So it's similar to your phone, or else mad performance, same battery life. Everybody's blew away by mad performance
And the battery life.
mad battery life. Then obviously at that time it was in the everyday laptops for people. And then for the pro users, later on that year, you get the Pro chip, so the M1 Pro and then the M1 Max. Now, whenever you obviously at that there, you were like, right, MacBooks maybe would be the way to go.
Every YouTuber you see, Drift Games, Night Raid, whoever, all sitting in the back of a car editing at a show, Mac.
Yeah.
And for me, my idea was always to buy a gaming PC first, and I would just nurture my own laptop along. For my laptop, never struggled. Apart from Donegal Rally, was the only time it ever struggled, and that's because it was uploading so many different pictures. That laptop never faltered when we were recording, even with the new camera and the better quality. Never struggled.
It was 1080p at the end of the day.
It was
too.
1080p, but it never faltered, so it was doing the job for me until it couldn't.
Yes.
And the thing is, I can load Euro Truck Simulator on my on my laptop. I mean, I have a Steam account from years ago.
Yeah.
And
same.
And I decided, right, as any use for gaming, gets a bit warm as it always did, so might look into a way about saying about maybe getting extra cooling made to it somehow. But it runs games like an absolute champ. So I was like, okay, well, there's my gaming PC.
Well, Euro Truck Simulator probably not the most high demanding of games.
But
like, don't get me wrong. Like if you were going to say like I want to play like Cyberpunk 2077, not going to happen. Or
no interest in any of that.
Exactly.
I want it for Assetto Corsa.
Exactly.
Well, that's literally
that could be depending on what setup if you were ever to go.
That's literally what I want. I want Assetto Corsa down the line. But anyway, so cut a long story short, I bought a Mac, and I thought I heard a crack there, and but it's probably just a spider. But so yeah, back to what we were talking about, which is the fact that we're on episode 66, because I can't trust Conor to do introductions this time round.
No. So essentially, Michael has an extremely hectic life at the minute. Obviously, his wedding's coming up. This be the last pod before we probably take a break for your wedding.
Yeah.
So obviously, you have all the time you can spend yourself and Becca to get ready for the big day. Probably have to help in there a wee bit here and there too, possibly, depending. I'm on your wedding.
Yes,
as an honour.
Conor is.
And yeah. You'd said to me, so you have a lot of friends.
I know a few people, yeah.
Obviously, there's a certain percentage would enjoy throwing everything under the sun over you. And
yeah,
I know the type of what Michael's like. Michael's obviously a man that loves to be in the spotlight. He is a main character type of person.
I'll tell you the crack, right? Around here, locally, it seems to be a northern thing, because chatting on, like, Hugh Barr took a video and sent it to Jeremy, and Jeremy goes, what the fuck he's doing to that man? And I was like, if any man knew the mad bastardry of stuff going on when it comes to weddings, it's going to be Jeremy Holland. But clearly not. So it's not a thing in the south.
No. Well, further south.
Further south. You hear, was chatting to Gary McInerney, and he says it happens in round there, and he's in the Midlands, and he says it happens now and again, but he goes, you got a rough doing. Everyone has said to me I have had the roughest doing they've ever seen. Personally, I didn't think it was that bad, because there's no cat shit or cow placenta involved, so I was happy enough.
I kind of think that's a bit far.
Yeah, absolutely. The diesel and the yard washings might have been a wee bit far. Hugh Barr, I'm looking directly at you. Because all I could taste was that last night and today, but
not nice.
And I had to wash my hair several times, and I'm pretty sure I still have black stains on my body. But here, I got out of that trailer, not hurt, full of smiles, gave everybody like a lot of laughs.
Well, obviously with your hectic lifestyle, I knew like we had to get you. You know, you need to have time before the wedding so it doesn't affect that in any way, shape or form.
Well, I'll tell you what, because I keep sidetracking myself because I keep going off on tangents, but I personally around here, I think a wedding's not complete unless you get doing. I watched my cousins get doing. You know, I watched like other friends like James Duffin got to do, and Conor McCollum got to do, and Mark Henry. If you're listening, you're fucked. So like I've seen other mates get doings. The boys I went to school with, typically not so much. Any of the more farmery carboy lads, I think it's game on. But I actually think it's a rite of passage. So it's one of them things where I was like, kind of like, if I didn't get one, I'd actually have been a wee bit raging. Because
really?
Yeah, well, you knew that.
Well, they didn't know that.
They didn't know that, but you knew that. And I actually thought, like, you know, and everyone else is like, oh, Jesus, how could you want that? But I think it's one of them things, like, you look at how many photos and all there was, and you'll look back at that, and even if you show your kids, like, you'll just go, like, look what happened to us. Like, God willing, I have wins. Like, you know, you'll be like, look what happened to us. This is what happened to us on our leading up. We got to do, and maybe by that stage doings will be banned, but you never know. But because the country seems to be going softer, but like, I was like, I actually thought it would have been Sunday, because I was like, they'll do it on a Sunday night. Nobody's doing anything, and my immediate thoughts was, they're not going to do it on a Monday when we're recording, because Conor knows that we need to get recordings done, because especially with the guest this week, we want to be on our A game. So I was like, I originally had actually work clothes and all set aside to wear maybe later in the yard this week, fully being like, I'll have dirty clothes. So I showed up to the yard last night in actually fairly good clothing. And then when you watch the video back, I'll maybe include a couple of wee bits here if I remember to. Right, so if you're watching this, the guys got me. This is me washed. Fair play, lads. Well done. Conor's mic didn't work for it anyway, so it's actually a saving grace that we're not using it.
Fuck.
But you can actually watch your face getting redder. You can watch you starting to jitter, and you play with your hands so much. And I was like, right, well, is Adam going to come down? And I thought maybe Adam was going to come. And then the next thing, you just hear me in the video say, is there someone outside? And I think this is where you'd said, oh, fuck, game over, it's ruined. You originally thought that. You were saying to me last night, you're like, I'm just raging that, you know, people... You have
a sensor light now where there was no light before. And whenever I seen that there, I was like, just went, right. Because so basically, the full thing was, right, I was going to sacrifice this pod, partially, right? So say, now wait for it. So you're going to go mad here whenever you hear this, but we've a guest coming on the night, and I just went, right, the best time to get you is recording.
That is true.
You know,
that's absolutely true. Guaranteed to be here.
Yes, but the other thing was, we can get it on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that would add the wee sweetener to it. You've obviously a lot of friends who were fucking totally game for it. So it was, I suppose, it worked out well, because sometimes you can be working away on Monday and it's like, right, bam, we have to do this one night. I had said to the lads, right, if you have a guest booked and it's only one night, I'm going to just message the guest and tell him to let you down.
I'd have been fucking raging if you'd have done that with tonight's guest.
But
we're not mentioning names because we're still waiting on him showing up, and he's a busy guy. So as soon as I hear the car pulling into the yard, we'll know.
Yes, but this is a once in a lifetime thing for you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so it was sort of that there. So and it's
not like we'll never get our guest ever again as well.
Got the word out, was savage careful to not let anything slip, or to even give you an inclination that someone was going to happen.
No, for genuinely I didn't. And even when the door opened there, my first thoughts was, Adam's opened that door a wee bit harder than I would expect. Didn't think anything of it. Was like, totally, like, no, like, it's not going to happen tonight. So I was completely comfortable. And you just see, as soon as the door opens, and you just hear my cousin Anthony walking in and going, Michael, I'm sorry. And the next thing, you just see your face just going...
And then I just set the mic to the side. Seen then one of them with a water pistol that was full of milk.
Yep.
And it was fired twice. I went, fuck the microphone. So I pulled it out of your face in the way, and then cable ties went on, and it's not like you fought. You just went.
What's the point in resisting whenever you've got the camera, you've got and like, it's not like anybody will intentionally wreck stuff, but if I, like, what am I going to do here?
Like, my biggest worry then was in the event of somebody with the new MacBook or the camera.
The camera, whatever.
Thankfully, the way it worked out, very little was done to you there, and you were tucked straight out. One of the ideas, obviously, the lads came up with was, oh my god, balaclavas. And I was
that was so funny.
You know, and the other thing was, right, so I knew if anybody drove in here, bam, straight away, you would know what was going to happen.
Well, the videos that I've seen is them actually walking through the backyard and coming out the other lane. Did you not?
So my original plan was, I told them, drive by your lane, drive by your mother's house there, and park up the road, put the hazard, or just parking at the side at the gateway or something, and walk down the road so you would hear nothing. And if you'll hear me getting a bit fidgety, but I heard them walking down the yard.
Oh, did you hear them?
I was listening out for everything.
I was mid. Because I was so comfortable.
And then I was talking away and just trying to keep a conversation. And then it was the sensor light gave it away. Originally, if that light hadn't went off, you would have been completely caught off guard.
I would have shit myself, but it's the fact of the matter is, I still
jumped, and I was like, happy fucking days.
I still thought it was Adam. I thought it was Adam going to land in and go, toodaloo, motherfuckers, what's the crack? That's what I thought Adam was going to walk in and say, and I was going to be like, all right, come on, right, we'll pause this. What do you want to see the Mac? Blah blah blah. Sit down and we'll continue. I'll move to here. Conor sits here. Adam goes there, and thought nothing more of it. And yeah, but whenever I seen the lads in balaclavas, I was like, that's so funny, because I think it was Stevie, Adam, Jack had a pair of tights on. Hugh Barr on a water pistol. James Duffin with a balaclava on as well, and then Anthony, he didn't balaclava himself. He was the one that came and introduced it. But it's the fact that you see them coming in. Oh, Adrian McAllister as well. It's the fact you see them coming in, and the next thing then it's just the water pistol on camera. You just see me getting hit, and it's like. I put the video online anyway because I'm a main character syndrome bastard and I wanted people to see it. So
to be fair to the lads, it was stroke of genius. They lifted the camera and they panned around as you were being taken out. I was
I think Adrian done that. And all you hear is Anthony just going, technical difficulties, we'll be back later.
And then the other thing was like, shit, somebody had said that the actual lead for the camera had fell out, and I went, fuck. So I plugged it in straight away and then paused stopped the recording, turned it off, and then paused the audio. Was like, please just hold everything that whenever you get back. But
thrown into the back of Conor Kelly's trailer, Mark Henry comes up to me and goes, he's like, you want to change your clothes? And I was like, nah, I'll be alright. I goes, will it be that bad? And Mark just went, your clothes are going to be wrecked. Apparently Anisha Duffin, James's wife.
You're doing James out of a wife.
Doing James out of a wife here. Duffin. Here, look, she went through all the extra trouble to change a Y to an IN. Do you know what? Anisha Duffin, James's wife, she goes to Becca. She was like, I'm wild sorry for what you're about to get put through, because I have seen what they're for doing, and it is rash. So here, next thing was thrown in, put a ratchet strap around me.
To be fair, we did provide you with
the bale of hay
protection, like.
You put the goggles on. To be fair,
we offered you a boiler suit. You just went, no, I could take it.
They offered me the boiler suit after I was really tied up.
But you know yourself.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it would have been a bit anticlimactic to go whenever I was in the trailer and you already started covering me and stuff, and then went, oh, maybe we'll get a boiler suit, and I was like, there's no point now.
No, but still.
So then I just sat there and just took it, and then the chili sauce went on, or the chili powder, and I was like, oh, and I could just feel burning on my skin, and I was like, oh, you ball bags. But anyway, what else do we have?
The hardest part for me was, now sometimes whenever I arrive here to record with Michael, Michael can be playing or fucking about with random stuff.
Yes.
So Michael recently, you will say more about it, did a purchase and he was trying it out. But I arrived here and went, you for fuck's sake, God knows how long we're going to piss about with this. And then I had said to them a certain time that was going to suit everybody. There was a few niggles during the day, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, had to get them sorted out, made a few phone calls and that. And then one thing after another, I was like, when is this? And I actually was receiving messages whilst I was in here just before we sat down to record, and folk were like, the fuck are you doing?
I typically don't look at your phone. Like, so you said,
So-
or not your phone, your watch. You said I turned the notifications on the watch.
I turned the WhatsApp notifications off on the watch, so even if it came up and that you wouldn't get any feelers. I also stopped the chat that I had used from anybody messaging.
Yeah.
So they had to message me privately. Just so I could give nothing away, because we need the reaction. Like,
Yeah, we did.
Because you're the type of person who would be expecting that. In a certain way, not that you're dying for it, but you would be looking for the signs. So,
100%. But again, I thought it was safe because I was like, no guest. Which I don't know if I'm hearing things. I thought I heard something come up the
that's
lane,
what I thought too. Yeah,
but I haven't heard a door close. I've heard a door close.
Yes, we'll pause
Okay,
it.
pause. So this is recorded like 3 hours later, but the video will be like 10 seconds later.
It's amazing. The
And there's
power
a
of
flight
editing.
just went on in my nose there. Amazing how time works. So we originally started rushing the intro because we heard Gareth pulling in, and we were like, oh, we need to get this done. And then we didn't give ourselves a chance to give Gareth a proper intro, really. So look, our guest this week, Conor, needs no introduction, really. Like,
No, very well known man.
very, very well known man, and for him to give a bit of time to come and sit with us is
Massively appreciated.
massively appreciated, and the help most recently given to us and the run, and taking you in and walking you around and showing the place
yeah.
to you. And then he showed it to me a wee bit as well then that night too, another night me and you were up. But yeah, Gareth is, I suppose, the main man behind Grassmen. And if you listen to this podcast, you'll 100% have heard of Grassmen because, well, truthfully, it's one of our inspirations.
Oh, of course it is.
So it made silage fun. Would we go as far to say?
It made sitting down and watching DVDs not there. The years ago with Follow the Pipe, Green Fever, not there. Like,
I can recite off all the lines from all of them. I don't know how many times I've watched the old, especially the old stuff.
even Two Legends and the Donkey, which is personally my own favourite, because I came in when I was in England and they were doing up the T-Dub for the Make-A-Wish charity run that they did with
That's right.
with the raffle tickets and all. It was just cool as fuck, like the reek, the smoke. Like infinite memories, like.
So, without further ado, the guest this week is the one and only Gareth Gault from Grassmen. So, like, is this your first proper local podcast?
Oh, I kind of. This is going to sound maybe wrong or not, I don't know. But I have avoided them like the plague. So, really, this is the first that I've done. I think I will do a few more now. I've been invited to do a few more now. I feel a bit more confident in myself. I think I was maybe just hiding away a wee bit. I'm trying to get myself into a bit better shape. It's 15 years of our brand. I'm trying to keep the message out there a bit about mental health. I've got her tough this year myself at different times. So
we heard you talking about that.
I'm feeling kind of get back to what I'm good at, is talking to people. I'm getting out more on camera myself this year. I'm doing more videoing. I spent a bit of time behind the scenes there. We're a busy business.
I did not realise until you gave me the tour of it, and
Yeah.
like, fair fucks for building what you did.
Beep.
No, there's no beeping out here.
I'm in the beep free zone.
You don't have to swear, but we can't stop ourselves, unfortunately, Gareth.
Oh, you're grand.
We actually, we've kind of sort of went down that rabbit hole. So to start, and I was saying, I heard you talking to David about that hole, and you're saying about the, having a bad year, but like, obviously you've done well with losing the weight, but for a man like yourself, people probably looking behind the scenes and going, Jesus, look at that man there. Sure, he's got the 6290 a TM, he's got a 4H harvester. What would that man have to be sad about?
Yeah.
And then you're coming out and saying, here folks, I am getting it tight.
Yeah.
You never stop.
I think
It takes balls to say that.
one of the things I'm trying to do this year is I've got it tight loads of times over the years. Like I have been in some very dark places, like, and I'm very honest about that. You know, if I go back in the history long enough, I got up one year and ate my Christmas dinner and went back to bed again. Like, you know, I've been that low. That's about the lowest that I've been. And one of the things I'm trying to do this year is, and it's not that it's a part of the 15 years of Grassmen, but I'm going to say it's maybe partly inspired by that. It's maybe partly inspired by one of the things I wanted to do in the 15 years was, one, sort myself out. And in sorting myself out, I was learning a bit more about myself. And we can't talk for hours about it, but it's all down to like hormones and a lot of testing done, and there's testosterone deficiency in me, which I knew about years ago when I was trying to have children. And I went on the testosterone replacement, and not many men would be brave enough to talk about that. But you know the really cool thing, right? Not a hair from my knee down was ever on my legs. I've been on it like 8 months now, and you see, like, it's starting to get hairy. So, like, they say, does these things work? Well, they do work. It's unbelievable, you know. And we're laughing about hairs in the legs, you know, but I was literally a smooth leg. And if you're a old CB person, that's not a good thing to be called as a man.
No.
You know.
But so it's a bit of a start there. But, like, you know, at what stage, like, obviously you run a business. I mean, anyone that listens to our podcast will know that, like, Grassman truly is one of the inspirations for even us, because it showed that farming and having the crack can go hand in hand. Like, and I'm like, previously, as we've discussed off camera before, you know, the likes of yourselves coming along, whenever you started 15 years ago, what we were seeing on farming videos and DVDs and stuff was maybe an Advantage Day recorded by, and I'm not shaming them because I have a load of their videos and their class. It was lessons.
It was like informational.
And
this is how it's done.
This is such and such, and he does this and he does that, and then you come along, you're filming boys giving each other death and over the 2 ways.
If you go like way back then, it would have been John and I would have been together.
Yep, of course.
Friendly, and we'd have been watching the videos. Whether it be up at university or whatever, and you know, this is wrong, but it's the truth. So sometimes you can be right, and then you can be horribly right. You were nearly throwing your drink or whatever at the TV, going, "It's not a Massey Ferguson 390T. It's a 390T. It's not a John Deere 6600.
11090.
Yeah, it's a 11090. You know, it's a 6610. It's a 6600.
Yeah.
And I was getting frustrated, and I'd have been saying to John, we could do a better job than that. Like, imagine if we did that. And how the Grassmen really came about was, sorry, John, if you're listening, but he was too miserable to pay for a wedding photographer.
He told us all this. He told us all this. So obviously, as you know, we've had John on twice, and he told us this.
He was too miserable. So he got his mate to he bought a wee camcorder, and he's got his mate, and then I'd have been out lifting grass for Gavin McKnight, Eddie Gamble. We'd both worked at Porters or whatever, and at different times I'd have been, here, come down and video this, it'd be nice to have. And we started at that, and basically that's the very early, very, very, very early days. Now years and years pass because you're two young fellas both on a career path, and then I suppose I was getting unsettled at work. I felt as a young lad at work in sales, I couldn't go anywhere. I was capped out. My income, I'd reached my peak. I had nowhere to go. I had a full sales ledger, in my opinion. That maybe sounds arrogant, and I was like, how do I get what's the next step? And I suppose I started thinking, well, if I was able to work as hard on me as I'm working for someone else. So I remember going on holidays and coming home from the holidays and literally, I think, basically saying to John or something like that, right, quit your job, let's do this. And that was the early days. And then, a few years passed by of me still working 3 jobs, basically. I was driving lorries at night. I really shouldn't say that too loud, but it's the truth.
You were telling us a story about that, but there was once or twice a week you were doing night shifts.
Aye, maybe 3 times a week.
That's bad shit. That's crazy, like.
I would have worked till a Friday, and we would have done wedding parties as well.
Really?
Aye. Back from John's days of doing like socials, he had all the gear.
I suppose,
so he used to run the gear, he had all the gear. So then, well, I knew, not maybe I don't say I, but you knew people, and that person would ask you to do the odd bit of. So I've seen me anyway, coming home from work on a Friday, maybe doing a wedding party, getting the 4 a.m. boat down through England, and then back home on the overnight boat, and starting your job on a Monday morning. But you see, every single penny of that, every penny of that was needed. And this is where I have a real struggle between these people talking about going to work in Australia and going to work in different countries, and that's too hard and it's too many hours. And the last thing I want to do is encourage someone to work to the day. But by the same token, if I didn't do what I did then,
you wouldn't have what you have now? I
wouldn't have what I have now, because I would never have been able. John and I separated. That's no secret. It was a business separation.
It is what it is.
A debenture mortgage was what it was for me, and I suppose it's a very fair comment. I put my heart and soul into it. I did all that work, but raising the money was tough, after selling the house and hunting down. And that was where mentally I struggled. That's where my big drive was at that time. I'd sold a house to raise money to go to America. Had to go for special help and surgery. I was there 5 times, maybe 2+ weeks at the time. There's not an inch of San Francisco I don't know.
Is that, so it's not like you even went to New York, you went west
San
coast.
Francisco, yeah. And I flew over. One of the times I literally flew over, got a taxi, went to the hospital, lay down. The doctor, he operated for 5 hours, found a little bit of sperm, and a few. My best mate always said to me, "You only need one." And wee Duncan's 9 coming 10, so you only need one. Mind you, I don't know how I walked about like Bruce Wayne for luck of days. I was sitting in the whoopee cushion. I tell you, lads, pain was unbelievable. I was so proud of it. I was sending pictures and realised I maybe shouldn't have been doing that back then, but the doctor done such a great job at sewing all up. But I was always like, I need to leave, definitely need to leave this race out of it as such. But like, you were sending a picture going, always fancied being black. And I mean, we're talking microphone colour here. Oh, but your man did some neat job of the stitching. I sent that in emails to him, a lot of my mates saying they were opening up these pictures.
You better hope that
thinks I'm a lovely fella, but imagine getting that email. Donkey's balls. Going about the perfect stitching. I remember showing it to Davy Porter at a tractor pull, talking about tractor pulling. And
wow, this is not where I thought this was going.
He goes, "Hey Davy, would you see this picture here? Would you see this picture here?" And I suppose he was around thinking I was going to show him something. He goes, "What's that?" I goes, That's the job he did after the opera. But anyway, to cut a long story short,
Gareth, I don't think I'll ever look at you the same way again.
They were impressive, like. Just all the gonads, that's what the Americans call them. Hey, I did some laughing. He goes, "Your gonads are twice the size of normal." Your gonads. It's like, who calls them gonads?
It's hey, same language but completely different.
Yeah. Doctor was doing a test on me, so here, if any lads are listening to this and you have a problem, we're trying to bring a bit of humour into this, but I was diagnosed with azoospermia, which meant no sperm, and Everything was there, ejaculate, everything was there, right? So the shot was there. There was no actual sperm in the shot. So what happened? What caused that? And I reached out to, it was killing me. I was proper killing me.
And do you
at the
know,
time.
as a condition you were born with, did you develop it off the back when
They reckon something happened, like coming off mumps or something like that, you know, something along those lines which caused testicular failure, really. So I lost all my testosterone, obviously, at that time, because that's sperm production in your gonads.
Yeah.
Which creates testosterone, which gives them the drive. So I put the belly on inside a year. So I'd say up until about, I'm guessing here, 2021. I'm not saying I was proper triangle, but I would have been a wee bit more of a V shape, and I blew up like a balloon inside a year, and I was really struggled that year, and they reckon something went wrong somewhere, which led to this failure.
Okay.
So before that, I was probably all right. We're not sure, and I went to this doctor, and he was just basically experimenting to try and give me closure, answers as to why I wasn't working.
Yeah.
And he drove 37 needles into the satchel. 37. But anyway, whilst he was doing the procedure, they had a bit of an old curtain up, and me and him were chatting, you know. Never minding the wee blondie nurse that came in to do the shaving. You were told not to shave or anything a few days before it. And I telling you, talk about a young lad, and you're not used to this kind of treatment. No, this is different gravy. I'm not really sure, but anyway, this was different gravy, right? And you're sort of just lying there going, so, work here long? You know,
nice weather we're having outside.
Where do you live? That's an Irish name you've got there. Yeah, no, I live here now, yeah. Doctor comes in and he's doing the... So, if you can imagine your two gonads or whatever...
Yep.
I'm refusing to say balls. And 37. So the idea of this is mapping out your testicles. So they did 37 strategically placed, and they're all samples. And those then samples went away. But the doctor, he was Dr. Turek, he's called, by the way. So look him up if anybody has any issues in the background. And I can tell you here and now, I have cuddled and nursed babies. That have followed me out there after, and I tell you, that's a special feeling. And so, you know, people went down this same journey for help. So 37 drove in, and the doctor was doing this procedure, and we were talking about that time I was pushing 30 stone maybe, like, and well, something like that. And he says,
when was this again? What timeline you reckon this was?
So where was I now? Duncan's 9. So probably probably all started a couple of years before that. So probably 12 years.
Yeah.
Probably 12 years
so
ago.
2012, 2013.
In and around then. And so the business was really in its infancy, which is one of the things I think really saved me. Because I had it to drive on
I was going to say, yeah.
Whilst I was going through all of this.
Yes.
Mentally.
But that could work one of two ways.
I understand that.
That could have completely crushed you.
But I'm resilient. I work better under pressure. I drive harder under pressure.
Okay.
So, but anyway, he was going,
back to the balls.
I could make such a, I could, he goes to me, we're talking about my weight and the problems and testosterone and all this was very new back then. You see, now now every time you put on Facebook and you flick 1 in 4 men low testosterone, this wasn't talked about back then. Men not being able to have children wasn't even really talked about back then. If you couldn't have children, there was little or nothing they could do. The NHS at that time,
terrifies me. That terrifies me.
The NHS here told me there was nothing they could do for me. I was, to consider adoption, etc., etc. Which, by the way, I think is absolutely fantastic, and fostering as well. But you want to try and have your own.
Well, I'll tell you, hey, this resonates with me a lot, and I'll tell you why. My parents were very late in life when I come along, and me and my twin sister come along. We were nearly classed as the miracle twins. My mother's 44. When she had us, and twins, you talk about the highest complications of pregnancy you can have. technically my ma was classed as a very geriatric mother, expecting twins. But that's once you go over 35, you're classed as geriatric. And look, there's a couple of you know, and that is something that kind of has. There's other things in the family there that kind of just. It's something I do genuinely. It concerns me. I'm not gonna lie. You're related to one of our best friends, Jonathan Greth. Mm-hmm. And Johnny had actually told me about this years ago, and I actually have to say, I don't get normally emotional, but I actually am. Your trip actually, I found, it actually gave me a wee bit of security.
100%.
Because it's something. Look, I'm not actively trying for children or anything like that, but your journey actually, it actually gave me hope. You know.
You're married and you're doing everything right and you're loving life, and you know, you hit that point and you just go, do you know what? Stop the pill now or whatever. And when it happens, you know. And you know, you're like, right, well, don't worry about it. You know, nothing's going to happen in a month or 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. 8 months, 9 months, 10 months,
16 years in my parents' case.
Yeah.
Do you know? But
what's going on here? Mm-hmm. Do we need to go and get looked about here? And all I remember is saying a prayer to the big man, saying just before we went in to get looked about, was please let this be me, so that my wife doesn't have to carry the burden. I tell you, sometimes I wish I'd have said the other. No, it was a heavy burden now. Did I tell you, because in my eyes, if I was a bull, I'd have been culled. If it was, you know, and it's all right. Everybody says, you need, everything's all right, you know, as long as you're here and you're healthy and all the rest of it. You know, in your head, you've one job.
Look,
I
have to say, look, adoption is class, and every Wayne deserves a good life. I will say that, but as you say, if you could have your own, you'd want your own.
Well, I wanted to exhaust the opportunity, and I thought long and hard about it, and you know, I was brought up in a very Christian background, a very, very solid mum and dad and family. And the whole wider family circle, as you will know.
I know that, yep.
And I remember pondering about it, you know. I had a couple of friends said to me that if they couldn't do it naturally, they wouldn't be going and getting help and all, and that hurt me at the time. It really hurt me at the time. Turned out they weren't friends, but I thought they were friends, and they were saying if they couldn't. And I remember then speaking to, I actually spoke to someone, we'll say a man of the cloth as such. And I remember him saying to me, if you go to the doctor and he gives you an antibiotic, will you take it? Or will you say, if God doesn't want me to be sick? And I was like, you'll take the antibiotic? Well, he says, who made the antibiotic? Man. Who's looking? There are certain aspects of fertility treatment that I'm maybe not for. And my wife and I did agree solely that, you know, so we were basically saying, so if you can picture this, it was all timed. So between working here and between working in San Francisco, there was drugs administered here for embryo or for egg collection. Then over to San Francisco, operation, retrieve some sperm. It's actually in tissue, and then try and bring it to life. Then try and fertilise said eggs. Then try and throw the embryos in a wee days later. That's essentially what the process is. But they're on a timeline. So they have an egg harvest there, and if they're operating on me and I'm like, I'm out, can't get anything, for example, they have to make a split decision choice. So one of the things that they would offer is donor sperm.
Okay.
So you could have a donor sperm lined up. You could have your tall, blue-eyed, Scandinavian man, whatever you want there, you know. So ladies, you can get your man if you want him. Like, you don't have to marry us. Like, you can pick him out of a catalogue, just like getting a bow. but you actually can.
Yeah, in theory,
But then my wife and I, we chatted about this, and you see, I would have been like, look, I think you should, because still give you the right to be a mother and all that. And then she was like, no, if it doesn't work with you, we look at a different option.
Yeah.
Don't want.
I would
I
resonate.
actually fully get it, but in my head I didn't want to deny her the right.
I understand that
But
too.
here, after the first visit there, which was only a holiday to Vegas. Oh, what a place.
Do you like Vegas?
I did, actually, yeah.
I think it's well tacky.
I don't get out very often.
Fair enough.
I would like to
maybe-
get back. I would like to get back without the wife.
I'm maybe
Not going to lie.
I'm maybe a wee bit too miserable for Vegas.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I stayed in the Bellagio. It was some spot.
But like the rooms aren't dear. Truthfully, maybe yours was, but when we stayed in Caesar's Palace. The rooms were not
I
dear.
went and seen Celine Dion in it.
Class.
She was singing, oh man, what a woman.
Unreal. Deadly spot, like, but for that sort of stuff, how they get you is obviously the machines,
Aye.
the gambling.
I mean, I don't gamble, kids.
Moving on.
What was the same in Vegas?
What happens there?
Vegas stays Vegas.
But I did that. Flew over the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam and
Hoover
did all
Dam's
that.
class.
And then drove to San Fran.
We drove San Fran the other way back.
I drove there and then went and spent a bit of time with this doctor. And anyway, so came home. So we had the 37 samples. Back to the original story, all taken. And I'm telling you, I went out of there thinking I am grand. We were staying in a hotel beside it. It was either the Holiday Inn or a Hyatt. Hyatt
would be a big thing over there, yeah.
one of them two, because that's where we always stayed. One of them two, they were beside each other, just whatever suited. And I remember just lying there, and I remember Leanne saying, I'll nip out here and get something to eat. There was some of them eateries or whatever you could get takeaway. I can't remember what it was, but I don't know what it but I don't want to say Abercrombie, but Abercrombie.
Arby's.
I don't remember. Something like that. But anyway, so she says, I go out, and I says, I know I'm dead on. And from her going out and coming back with literally a burger and chips, say 10-15 minutes, I had went from feeling nothing to wishing I wasn't here. It was painful.
The gonads.
The gonads were, and they were on a fire.
Had they just swollen or?
Well, I'm about to have 37 needles into them.
But no anaesthetic or anything?
Oh, look, but I said it was just wore off, you see.
Oh,
It only wore off at that point.
Talk about kicking the stones. Or needle to the stones.
A man basically beat you with a cactus.
He did.
Valid
point.
Valid argument.
But he was like, well, I was only watching the bottom half of his hands, and he was like, I could see the movement. He was wiggling, like, you know. Anyway, I was back home, and I was up at Alwyn Hayes, and he'd worked in a new yard, and back when I was at Porter's, Davy Porter, I would have drove the digger a bit. Now, I'm not a digger man. I can swing the levers, I can foot about. Scheduled call with this guy, this doctor, was like 2 weeks after I got home, and it was like something 7 or 8 hour time difference. And
8 hour, yeah.
So it was a 2 o'clock in the morning phone call, and I think at this time I'd never said to any of the ones around Hayes where our business is based that I had any interest or driving diggers or anything, and Alwyn had all these loads tipped out the back, and they had their own JS 130, which I drove at Porter, or the same type of digger I drove at Porter's. And I says, hey Alwyn, do you mind if I have a play in the digger? And he just sort of looked at me. I says, no, work away. And I started leveling into the backyard, and at like 10:30, 11, he came up to me and he says, Alwyn, I says, do you mind if I just keep playing? And I levelled the yard and got home just in time for the phone call. I remember the doctor, he goes, big man, are you a believer? I was like, huh? Are you a believer? He says, a believer in what? He says, God. I says, oh, aye, why? He says, thank him, I found sperm on 8 sites on the very outside edge of one of your gonads, one of your testicles. And he says, get back to San Francisco and we'll make you a daddy. That was his words.
Class.
You talk about... Now, I knew that was only the beginning.
Aye.
And you're talking there about my cousin, second cousin to me, Jonathan, and then his dad, Sam.
Yep.
Sam Crest. Oh, he's been like he's a mentor to me, really, to be honest, and has been like, and you know, I remember talking to him at that time and all. I was running out of money fast, like, you know, and I sold my house. Cost a lot of money to go to San Francisco and stay there.
Absolutely, it's not a...
I was going to ask, like...
fertility. See, the bit that was done on me actually wasn't that expensive, because I was like research number 287543 in terms of your man. He was loved me in terms of research.
Yeah.
But when it come to then going up 2 floors in the same building to the fertility clinic,
Yeah.
Pacific Fertility Clinic is where we attended, if anyone's wanting to Google it. Turek Clinic for men, Pacific Fertility Clinic, just if you want to go Google them. And so, like, it was like, I think a round of IVF here at the time was like $5,000 or something. Out there, it was like $20,000.
Yeah. I was sure a lot of people probably are insurance, so it's just right. Like,
You were talking basically the price of a house in that time then to...
I sold the house that I was in, so I had got into the house. I had got a bit of a benefit 2 or 3 years of the crash, where interest rates had really dropped.
yeah.
Yes.
So I came from like £800 a month mortgage payment down to like 4 something, or
Yeah.
like early
Yeah.
500. Horsed a pile off as this house, you know. I was doing everything right. When I worked at Blair International, big shout out to Blair International. When I worked at Blair International at night times and weekends and whatever, I set every penny. Young people need to learn to save. That's one thing.
I'm not a good saver.
No.
Not gonna lie.
Well, I set up a separate bank account, and
That's what I
any
have now.
penny I ever earned from Blair International on the lorries
And you
went into
never
that bank
touched it?
account. I never touched it. Anytime I had extra, you know, if I did any wee jobs where there was that extra few quid
Mm-hmm.
in there, why, do you see, by the time I'd been to America 5 times, I literally was saying to Sam, cousin Sam, this is it. I can't go back.
Aye. Bottom of the barn.
I have no money left now. I sold my house, made good profit in the house. I was moved into a rented house. By the way, I'm still in the same rented house. Cut your cloth. When you learn to cut your cloth, and you learn to like your cloth then. And cut my cloth, used every penny. And I remember saying to my cousin Sam, I'm beat. And he was like, you can't stop now. You've came so far. Had a miscarriage in the middle of it all too, hurt.
Lad.
A very early one, a very early miscarriage, and then a couple of failed attempts, and then boom, she held to the ball. And hey, where's the tractor talk? But that was my toughest journey mentally, and the weight then. They put me on testosterone things back then. The Yanks did, the Americans. Oh man, 8 or 9 stone dropped off me. Found the gym, loved it, was looking well.
That's right, because you did lose a lot of weight at that stage. That's right.
Yeah, trained like mad, all pre-operation, sort of before the operation, and come back and was like a new man then. Duncan came along, what we called him, Duncan. Ran 2 half marathons that year.
That's right.
And Duncan came along, and then I suppose hit the reset button, and weight started creeping on. Tried to lose a bit, lost a bit, kept up going to the gym, and then just rang the doctor about a year. I'm going to say about a year ago. It was around the ploughing, which we're not far from the ploughing now.
September,
It was
October
around a
time,
year ago.
whatever.
I rang the doctor and said something's not right. He says, I haven't spoke to you in 10 years, Gareth. What's wrong? He says, just something's not right. I'm feeling a bit bleh. My head's maybe not great. All the weight's back on. Blah blah blah. So, long story short, got testosterone tested. If normal, I think the scale here in the UK NHS starts at something like 12 up to like 30 is considered normal for a man. I was 4,
Fuck.
Ah,
so I was that low.
pretty
Yeah.
low.
So, here got got on the roids then. Been on the roids a year, and it's changed everything.
But does that not make you balloon a wee bit, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes, but I'm not on that big a level, right?
Okay.
And we went back for like a check-up a couple of months later, sorry, and we'd naturally lost a bit of weight. You have to bear in mind, I was lifting weights 3 to 4 times up until that point. Like, when I went to see the doctors, I'd have been benching 40 kilos for fun. Now, we're not donkey 2622222 strong man here, but I'd have been warming up and finishing up. We only had 40 kilo dumbbells, and I'd have been repping them out, maybe 2 sets of 10 or 12. That's good.
That's good.
steady.
That's good.
Like,
40 kilo dumbbells.
I didn't have anything any heavier, and I always liked using the dumbbell, and I would have shoulder pressed them as well at a time.
Yeah.
Not now, a wee bit weaker now. And so we weren't a strong man by no means, but we were strong. So you see, by getting a bit of the roids in there, and just trying to cut back a little bit, and that muscle, I believe that it's very hard saying this when you're a big 5, but it's there.
Yeah. Here, your back's basically.
And I think that muscle started working and doing its thing and started burning the fat.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And a bit of weight started coming off. Then I really tried to watch what I eat, and I cut out a few things completely. And it's been a slow and steady job, but
you're nearly better being slow and steady.
It's a marathon, like.
It's
most definitely.
the worst thing you can do is a fad diet and drop off all the weight. Like, at one stage during COVID 2020, I was doing furloughed, and then I went back. I was a process engineer, was sitting at a desk a lot, and then I was commissioning on site. Then things changed, and they said, "Here, look, do you want to work in a factory and assembling machines?" On my feet all day. I was training MMA at this stage 4 days a week. And the farm wasn't as much maybe happening here with the farm, and hadn't started the podcast. Yeah. And I was so active, and I was like a stick. And now I'm back up the weight. And I think back to like, but sure I could do it at that time. And what I don't realise is how different my life was back then. I say I was working a job where I was on my feet in the factory all the time. I said I was training. And if I didn't have the podcast, I probably still would be at Yoda MMA training flat out, because I loved it. But when the podcast came along, I was like, something has to give. I can't do it all.
I think in terms of the roids, I don't know. Back in the day, the Americans put me on estrogen blockers, which was a great thing. But the one thing I have noticed is I would have had elevated levels of estrogen, elevated levels of, it's called follicle stimulating hormone, and elevated levels of luteinizing hormone, which are, for want of a better word, called the female hormones, but they are active in men as well.
They are, yeah.
Because your FSH and your LH, they're apparently they're triggered, so they recognise your gonads aren't producing testosterone or sperm, so then they're sending signals. Right, boys, go to work. So they're flat out. Hope I've got this medically right, by the way. They're sending the signal down. Go to work. We need to make sperm. We need to make testosterone, but we can't because it's not there to be made, and because there's no sperm or whatever happening. So then that's elevated. So after the 2 months, what I noticed with the doctor was, for the first time, probably, dear knows when, everything was kind of normal. I had hit the low end normal.
You were 12, say 12, 14,
13, something like that, 14 maybe. And then the FSH and the LH had all steadied out, so it was left then that go away for 6 months. This is now 7. I need to get back and see him, get bloods done again, because that's one of them treatments. That is still, you speak to a bodybuilder, I am on an English shot. Not the porcine, like.
Not the stuff I have over here, like.
I'm not on the porcine. They would say it's very weak what I'm on, but just enough to, and we're leveling that out.
Yeah.
And then it did help. It helped clear the brain fog. But I think with me staying on this calorie deficit or whatever, and highlighted by Dave Kennedy.
He's massive. He is big.
He's a big lad.
I didn't until Dave would chat back and forth with Dave now and again, social media. met him at Ahill.
He's a lot bigger than I thought he was.
He looks bigger in real life than he does in the
I'd
videos.
still take him on at the gym. I have asked him and Sean Collins to come up and asked him to bring his training gear and we'll go gymming.
Well, Sean is coming up.
Yeah.
Sean is coming up.
I hope he does. I want him up actually because I'd like him to see our setup
No,
before the ploughing.
he told me.
See if we can help him. Genuinely.
He told me he was definitely going to come up north because he wants to see a few. He's going to visit a few other farms.
I think Dave would like to tag along with Bob if they're coming up there. I'm taking them boys to the gym to see if we see how he handles old school. I get my man on him, George. Because hey, you know what, Dave, if you're watching this, big fake muscles, we'll take you.
He may actually be watching this. In fairness.
Love you, Dave. Our videos yet to come. He did a thing with me doing I will flips.
Is that where you recorded it in the tractor?
Nearly went. Well, we did one too, and he did his own wee bit. Nearly went viral. So it did. But anyway, so that's the story. So yeah, a slow journey. Did a bit of running. Got myself back up to doing well. I've stopped it as wee while just with the heavy shows. Stayed on point at the shows. We took a barbecue a bit more this year. Didn't eat out as much. And
it all helps.
It did help, yeah. Trying to did lots of different silly things during this. I did the one day eating for a bit, or once a day eating for a bit. No, wasn't for me.
No.
I've found twice a day's working for me, and I still will snack a
You're
little
kind
bit.
of probably doing a somewhat of an intermittent fast.
Probably I'm trying a wee bit. I cut out crisps and peanuts completely.
Peanuts are the worst.
I was a devil for them. I worked out roughly what calories I was consuming them. I'd been home at night most nights, and I would have got a tin. It would have been my thing to do. A tin of Coke Zero out of the fridge.
Yep.
Sit down on the sofa with the dog. I can't go to bed without Heidi the dog has to get up for a cuddle, or she'll cry. So no matter when I'm in at night, doesn't matter if everyone else is in bed, and I would have TV for a few minutes or TikTok.
Yeah.
And boom, I would have poured out a lot of peanuts and a big bag, a bit of a big bag into a bowl, a Coke Zero. I just watched some few minutes on it, and I realised there one day I was polishing one of them big bags in maybe 3 nights. And then I looked at the calories.
Would have been 1,500.
That was shocking. Anyway, it was like a pound of fat a week.
Aye. Every bit of it.
It's worth.
You cut that out.
Worth peanuts.
Yeah.
And I've been averaging about £1.50 a week loss or something. So, cutting that out alone and just trimming.
Yeah.
And tried really hard to not finish. We were brought up, if you don't eat all your dinner.
So
If you don't eat all your dinner, you'll
like.
not be big and strong,
Aye.
I've been trying there, and if it's past a certain time at night, I'll scrape off the carbs and stick with the meat. These are the wee things, the wee bits of advice that you pull from the likes of Dave Kennedy and George, my man there, wee simple things. I didn't go on any rice and chicken oil diet yet. I sadly believe I'm going to have to.
Really?
As it slows down now, I'm probably going to have to really go proper clean eating.
That sounds terrible.
But I think I'm at a better place mentally to do that, because I really want to achieve this 10 stone.
Well, fair play, that's class. We actually have a mate, the boy that does our media, Adam. He's went from 12 and a half
stone.
He's went from
26 to 14.
To 14, yeah.
You want to see Adam last year? Adam,
Adam.
I'll do a complete character assassination on him here because he knows. Adam, a few years ago, during the same time I lost the weight. Adam, lost a lot of weight and then gained it again. And Adam, when he was out walking, he'd been complaining about sore knees and all this here. When he was walking around the car, valeting the car, he's into valeting cars and all that there in detail, and he's good at it as well. But he would have been walking around a car, and a job that should have taken him a day would have taken him 2 days. Yeah. And
I was out of breath.
He'll admit to himself that, see, even just losing the weight, he looks incredible. But on top of that, personality wise, He's a lot happier with himself.
The confidence that man has gained in the last 6 months is...
He can let stuff go. He's not...
Talk to women now, can't
Yeah, he's not afraid to leave the house.
Here, I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you another wee story. I think I could have talked to them easier when I was bigger. Confidence was never something I lacked.
I would believe that, actually, to be fair.
But it's... I don't know. Look, I have a long way to go. I was way too heavy. I'm still way too heavy medically. I'm still obese, but I'm on the journey. It's good. I have struggled a bit with it at times. I don't know whether I've struggled because we've been so full on, or life. I don't know whether I'm struggling a bit with life, or whether I'm struggling a bit with work, or whether I'm struggling a bit because I've probably had myself in a calorie deficit for nearly a year now and stuck to it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go out and go frig. I didn't do any cheat meals or anything this time, and
That's my killer.
I maybe went wrong. I kept it tight the whole time. So Big Dave was saying, you know, maybe level it off, find where normal is again, and then, you know, low frequencies his key. And I think he's right. I think it is a wee touch of low frequency, or, you know, just, but by the same token, while hard to stop something that's working.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's different at the
Don't
end of the
fix
day.
what's not broken. In a way.
I look at that sometimes, you know, and I suppose, but then if you don't take chances, like business is a chance, you know, we were talking off camera earlier on that you've great dreams, and someday you want to work for yourself, you want to do your own thing.
I would ideally love to, because
absolutely. And you know, my answer to that, I didn't say anything when you were telling me all that, but my answer to that is never put off to tomorrow what you can start today, because if you have the heart, I was told by a lecturer at university, yes, I went to uni, alright, I didn't do much there, but I did go. And a lecturer said to me one day at uni, he says, there's only so many different types of mindsets in this world, really. People all, you know, you get people like me, you could categorise different people like me, different people like you, Conor, or whoever else you want to bring into the room. There's just certain types of people. And he said, there's only so many different types of mindsets in this world, and if you find something that you enjoy, and you truly enjoy it, and you master it, and you get good at it, people will like it. Not everybody, because there's other types of mindsets out there.
of course,
people will like it, and people will follow you. And that always, that was probably one of the main drivers behind the brand at the time, was, you know, him saying that now you're always going to have your haters. You know, it's like good and bad, good and evil. Where there's one, there's the other. So, but there is no such thing as bad. It's you know, if I looked up at posts online and didn't see some bit of hate, I'd be like, what's happened? If we get too soft?
I be honest, I would struggle, even like with some of the stuff when we done the charity run there. People were still there's some nasty comments even in that, and I was just like, how can you hate on a charity thing?
Oh, because you're doing good.
It's funny, even on TikTok.
People can't have you doing good. We had it when we raffled those tractors. It was a scam. Everybody said it was a scam. Everybody said it was, they're pocketing the most of that money. And you're like, we just raised money here for charity. Speaking of that, boys, over 20 grand.
Yep.
You've raised.
Yep.
You've full Egypt's driving down from here to Cork, but you've raised 20.
£20,453.92.
Like,
if you blew your fucking minds.
If you include gift aid.
But that is included, because that's cold hard cash that gets moved over, and you know, people have already paid their tax and that money, so that's genuine. Like boys, sum that up for me. Come on, hit me easy here, hit me hard.
A weekend I'll never forget. Like, you know,
say that again.
It was, to be honest, at points in time where things happened, this, that, and the other, you would have swore there was Dawn and my mother was looking over us for like the likes of driving through Rossgrey and the diff light coming on in the TM. As soon as we got to the top of the hill and we turned around the roundabout, a perfect lay-by.
Yeah,
you know,
between two roundabouts,
you know,
so we could drive around
so we could
and check
test it. you more or less were getting emotional as you were driving into the field.
I came down the last run, just a straight bit, just before you pull onto the again, I wouldn't say I'm not an emotional person, I'm quite cold that way, but just before you come to the double gates to go into the big field, this thing came over me and my eyes just welled up. And you hear us coming into the field, and I flung the door open of the tractor, and I just screamed Adam's video, and I just goes, yes!
It was the day one TikTok when Adam made it, and I watched it. I'm not going to lie, I'm very, very close to breaking down, because it's just like, I suppose you say it was like a pipe dream. It was extremely cool and like an honour to get to drive your own machine.
Don't worry, but that's not what we're talking about now.
But it was...
I was too feared to drive now. I didn't want to damage it.
Essentially, like, personally, myself, like, you know, if you're going to do something like that there, it was a bit of a dream in that sense, and I just, for essentially nothing to go wrong, really.
Would you say at points during it, when you get the little bit of come down off the stress or whatever, you just maybe sat back in the tractor, had a little bit of a smile to yourself? Because I do this happens to me, this is a regular thing for me. I do lots of different things for people behind the scenes, and I'm not here to talk about that and say I do. I'm just saying sometimes I've seen me just doing silly things like the 32 county bail challenge or whatever, and just sometimes you just sit there and you just get this nearly hair stand in the back of your neck and just this overwhelming feeling of I am meant to be here right now.
Yeah.
Doing this,
driving in behind himself, and was feathering the gears to her, and then realised that the field was bumpy as fuck, so then unfeathered the gears to her and drove over easy, and just the amount of folk with phones out.
Yeah, that's what Hugh Barr said as well.
Like, that was
fair play to you.
Speechless.
Young Dylan as well. Dylan done the majority of the driving, actually, to be fair, in the 7-8, and them to come along with it was... Now, Hugh has his own personal reasons, as does Dylan, and I think that's why they wanted to be involved. I have to say, there's a bit where we come onto the field, and you say this bit where it was like, Jeremy took off, he was in front of me with the tractor and harvester in the 7-8-10, and then I came in behind him, and he took off flying, and I just went, you know what, we're here, go for broke, give her gears, and I followed him, and everybody had the phones out, and I was trying to lag the tractor to get as much smoke out, and I was like, let's make an entrance. Let's make an entrance. And then the same as Conor, turned right to swing across the top and nearly went out through the sunroof. Whoever played that field, he's shot.
We've done different things in the past, right, for charity, and this is one of the reasons we took a wee bit of a different, started trying to help more people. You see what you're talking about right there, right? That I resonate with that, because we raised a lot of money at different times, right? And I remember one particular charity ringing up and going, so what can we expect to get off you this year? And that hit me stone cold hard. I did not like that. I'm not going to name any charities. I'm not going to say we're not going to do that, because one person working for any company or charity or whatever doesn't underpin or define the charity. And the same with an employee. You know, you know, I rely on my employees to represent me at all times. Well, I know over the years it hasn't happened, in the odd scenario. Yeah. But you know, that's my job to make sure or do our best. So anyway, and I remember raising a lot of money for different charities, and it comes down to handing the cheque over. And then I remember doing aid run to Romania.
That's right.
Sick kids lorry.
That's right. That wasn't yesterday. That
lorry, that 0164. Boys, if anybody knew the nights I cried myself to sleep in that thing, because that's what I was doing the night shifts in. I maybe would have took a couple of hours every so often if I was clean beat, up in the bed, an iPad. No, I'd have been I'm not going to lie, this is the truth. Like I didn't care if I didn't come home. I've said that to people, and people don't realise that. You know, I see me coming up 75 hallucinating and silly things like, you know, just didn't care. And it was very selfish. Now that's a very selfish thing, but I didn't care.
But when you're in that state of mind, you are selfish.
You know, at the end of the day, there was no future for me. I'd no, and I was doing the only thing my mummy and daddy taught me how to do was work. And I used to, I did trunk runs down south. I took birds over to Bradford quite regularly, lifted them at birdhouses over in the boat down to Bradford. All spent hens, and did trunk runs for Linus and Coleraine down to the south when they were breaking into the south. It was a regular thing out with Blair International. Now, in fairness, there was no you couldn't be hooky or crooky there. Now they were a top tier haulage company, but I might have been tired right enough. But I had just done silly things, and I see me coming home, and you just didn't care. And so I said, right. Whenever we were successful and Duncan was en route, I says, right, I says, this is to the old dog, the lorry Eva Rose. And the lorry was called Eva Rose because at that, so when and around my journey, John at the same time was having his own kids, that was tough too, there was all issues in around there. Nothing deliberate by any accountability. All my friends were baby booms, mates were spitting them out like they were going out of fashion, and it was hard, like. And
absolutely.
So Eva Rose was named after John's eldest daughter.
Yep.
And still is, by the way, and that'll never change. Eva Rose was my favourite girl now of all the machines that we've ever had, and I says, you and me's going to do good now. We've came through the hard.
Aye.
We're going to do good. So we did a run to Romania with a load of all hospital beds, and we got a blowout right enough. But you see, when I came home from that trip, it didn't cost me that much really, because Bernie Transport, specifically Carlin, Davy Blair International, these boys, they dug deep and they helped me out. Fuel, boats. Not that I was asking for it, because I was prepared to pay for it, but I didn't have that much money, but I was prepared to pay for it. And I come back home, and I remember sitting there, and sometimes you need a dark room and a dark corner to decompress. And
100%.
Oh, of course, yeah.
A dark sure.
To just process.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, that meant more to me, the going and the doing, than reaching out money. I went and I did something.
Yeah.
I went and seen where the beds were going. I went to the country. I drove. I gave up my time to do it.
Yeah.
And it's very easy with a business that's fairly, I'm not saying very, but fairly successful, to go, do you know what, here boys, we'll throw you a few quid, we'll throw you a few quid. So that's one of the reasons. That's also a combination of a promise. Just at the time we were trying to have a family, I says to the big man, just things were going a bit against us, and I says to the big man, I says, you sort this wee mission out for me and I'll work hard for you. So I have to keep that promise to the day I die. So that's, you said in your podcast, I was listening to it with the boys there, that you met me at a show, and I just was like, that's why. That was a promise I made to the big man upstairs, that I'd help anybody that was trying to do good, if I can.
Yep.
Now I get told off a good bit by Ruth for doing too much, but
No,
You
fair
always
enough.
need someone to keep you right.
but by the same token, so no, I and that's why, so that's why, and then I don't do half in.
No.
If I'm in, I'm in.
Yeah. Here's my tractor. You can drive it. Here's my freshly...
But I need to get a PTO and a front linkage on it and paint it, and I have a week left. But I'll get it done.
Sam Cole and Johnny Blakely might not actually have got any sleep, but
Well,
That
you
was their
can
choice.
attest, as whenever I obviously was driving your machine, your trailer.
I nearly saw the
I-
aircon. I was in it today. I'm sorry about that.
No,
by the
no,
way,
no,
but I
no.
will fix that.
I didn't give one fuck about aircon. No harm
he
to-
was sitting in basically a trance in his own happiness. That
Didn't
happy.
care there was no-
Lovely driving tractor. I card it.
wasn't watching who's behind him or nothing on the roads. He was just sitting there, big smile on his face,
And we got
driving.
the
Like-
light fixed.
If it
ABC, boys.
Like-
ABC.
literally, if we were going anywhere that was tight, I was like at a 40-footer on me. I was like,
The way to circle, make sure she's there. Lovely
for-
tractor, actually.
Lovely tractor.
I I took the wee 6.910 out today with the old 10X that I had up at Balmoral Show, and before I start spending money on it, and I have a guy, maybe I look at it, to start and look about blades, because she's sort of, you can't really buy parts for them now. Any work that we're going to have to do now is probably going to be expensive work.
Yeah.
So I wanted
custom.
just to, so basically I dropped the head off, just went round her myself. There was a good old distance between the shear bar and the knives, but the sharpening stone was working, and I just greased everything up. But I noticed when I was greasing up, fair play to the previous owner, yes, it lay outside and it went through mid-Ulster auctions, but couple of pumps and you could hear the cracking.
She had grease in her.
So she had grease in her. She had been, so
She'd been looked after.
I probably missed half the grease nipples around her. It wasn't really overly, but head back on, chain back on, and I says, first thing we're going to do is head out to the field and we're going to have a try, but I'm not going to put horsepower to it. So I looked round the shed and I was like, what, sitting? Well, at the TM that I'd only got home from Tullamore Show in the trailer, and I thought I'll put the TM on it, and I thought, no, I'm leaving it in the cane. And it says Oliver, which we nicknamed that night the 6.910. I was like, you need to run out. So 150 horsepower, so it's not too much horsepower. So I thought, just to see, I start putting 820 fence and 3690 masses on an old thing like that. Just to see.
Gearbox go to
Just to see. And here we went. I threw the spout extension back on, square cane. She was dropping into it dead on.
Spout extension, alright.
Not ideal, you'd still like the side fan wing, but she was, and I used to be Ruth U cart there, and she was like, I really like the TM, and I says, that's what it was back in the day. I was trying to explain, because they jump into these big tractors that all these boys has now, your 6R 155s or your T7 2, and I was like, this is it back in the day, and it pulled nearly as big a trailer, but anyway. And the next thing we shoved in maybe 10 acres, just only with the one trailer, and then I jumped out a couple of times and jumped into the tractor and took the load in and tipped it just with Ruth for the crack, just for a rip. And I was like, that TM she's sweet,
Oh fuck,
she's a nice tractor.
She's
a nice tractor.
I hate saying that about my own machine, but she's running tickety boo.
The only time I actually did get a good old rip on her was whenever I had the half load of grass on her.
Aye, the hell up to the hill. Or up to the yard.
Up to the yard. And hadn't a fucking clue where the pit was. To be fair, Conor had given me the pin of it, so again, unless I've been somewhere and a rough idea of the road, I'd still be well cautious in that. But
not to mention we were 300 miles from home.
That as well.
One or two clicks, as they say,
and some that really obviously isn't mine. So got up, and there was a few that were well oiled at the pub. Were enjoying themselves.
Aye.
You're in West Cork, boys, you know what I mean?
The wild West is correct. Bandit country.
You are heading away from civilization down there. What a county. Cork, you see Grassmen and Cork. It's
here, even us in Cork.
100%.
They are phenomenal people.
And you take farm flicks as well.
Yep.
They're like, anything to do with that farming and they're loved, and I think that's brilliant.
The fucking hospitality too. Mental.
I don't know so much about your UK based bloggers and all of that. I just don't know, but certainly I know us anyway.
You talk Grassmen, ourselves, farm flicks, and I would say even any of the other likes like Hugh Barr sells a lot of models. There was
100%,
Dennis Kelleher was all like, come on, you're coming with me, I want to, we're doing grass together, straight in with them as well, and even Joe Rogers there with us, he just said the hospitality and the way that them boys all stayed down and enjoyed themselves on the Sunday night, and fair play to them, they deserved it, and I wish we'd done the same, only I had work on the Monday.
I understand,
we get home at 3 o'clock,
something like that.
We did a Haley show, so we drove straight to Wicklow, set up that little trailer, and then went to the hotel, and then we're up again and back at it the next day. So
them boys enjoyed themselves that hill, and they were well looked after. Is all I'll say.
When Craig came over to Conor and went, so you now need to drive the fast track across, all he got was lovely. Lovely. To be fair, I drove your fast track in a circle around the field. That thing is fucking cool.
Ah, she is.
That is fucking cool.
But you know, the baby's come fair.
She sounds well.
Oh,
The baby's come fair, yeah. I don't know
sounds
whether
well.
it's fast track gurus can help me out here, but I think the slightly different suspension system on the bigger ones, and I think you maybe need a bit more weight on the front to get the full.
yes.
But the baby is, she's lethal, comfy and she's cool, big boss. Wicked, but it's a funny part. It's got loads of power. It's 393 or something in the shaft, but it's like a very lazy power or
Laggy?
something. Aye, but I think that's the gearbox.
It must be for. It felt the same way, and now I've extremely limited driving time in a Fent, but it just felt like driving a
There's a
Fent.
Fent gearbox at the end of the day, yeah.
There's none of that bang, kick on.
Oh no, like to be fair, and then there's another fella.
But imagine heading off to like Australia to work to your boy Sam Monk for a year, and essentially that's what you're being reached.
That is exactly what they're driving, except they have the quad axle trailers.
No,
Like,
but they still have a pile of the 3 axles as well.
We're friendly with a few of the boys that work for Sam. When Sam was over here visiting everybody, I was in Snapchat with him, trying to get him here as well.
I was up with. I spent a bit of time with Sam.
I wanted to get him here. It just didn't work. The timing just didn't work. I wanted him here as well because I think Sam would have been great, to be honest. Like,
Sam can talk.
Sam can talk. Sam's so civil. Just one of the boys who was working for Sam came over, done Conor's grass with us, and next thing Sam mad at me in Snapchat, and then just chatted away. And I was like, what a legend! This man has many more things to be doing than entertain the likes of me. But chatted away.
He's some boy now. He's not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm not being disrespectful to you, Sam.
Everybody.
You know I love you, and I hope it's vice versa. But like, you don't go to Sam to mess about. You ain't going there for a holiday.
No.
You are going there to
work.
dog.
Yeah.
And if that ain't your mindset, don't go. But you see a young me,
You'd have thrived.
Sam and I would have been best buds.
Well, to be fair, the boys
I
were.
would never. No, I wouldn't have let him off soft. I would, But he has no issue with that. If you can back it up, it's whenever. If you listen to him, if you ever meet, any time I have ever heard the bad story, it was some young lad that couldn't stick it or whatever. And here, by the way, that's okay. If you can't stick it, that's fine. But I've heard that story umpteen times. There's a backstory, and you speak to some of Sam's boys.
I'll tell you a
and
bit
they'll
more
tell
about
you
him.
There's always a little bit more to it.
Aye.
Something went wrong,
Yep.
Yes.
and you've so much you have to do when you go out there. You go out there, and you're sent maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 hours away from base, and you're sent
Easily.
and you're with a crew, and that crew has, just for talk's sake, a couple of mowers, a couple of loaders or one loader, a harvester,
Yep.
and
A rake.
3, 4, a rake,
And
3,
4
4
JCBs, yep.
tractors and trailers, and then they maybe join together with another crew at night time or whatever. So that's your crew.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a rare boy,
If you can't get along with people.
So I don't want to touch the borderline of bullying or anything here, but at the end of the day, you have to make it work for you
Yeah.
too.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And you're no longer there with mummy, and mummy's no longer there washing and tidying and looking after yourself, So look, if you can go out there and you can do the basics, you can keep your accommodation clean, you can talk the talk and walk the walk, i.e. get out of your bed in the morning and work, you'll absolutely thrive, and you'll love it, and you'll earn good money.
Just before we go anywhere else, Gareth, is it one thing if you could go back in time, that you would have done a year out?
Oh, I did a year out of uni, all right now, and did 2 different bits of jobs, and I did and selling insurance like door to door, just to learn how to cold call and speak to people, and then that's when I met Davy Porter Contracts.
Right.
Started did the second half of my year out working to him. So first job I ever did for Porter Contracts was Sprucefield. So where the Currys and all sits there now was a green field. back in my day, and I literally was in that site with it was all red sand, and the big long reaches in, and they dug the sand out from below the motorway bridge, and it was a big site run by Hearn, and there was it could have been 18, 19, 20 tractors and dump trailers in there any day, and I was in with a TM 125, and then progressed to a TM 130 on a 16-ton Red Rock, and my tractor and trailer was stole out of that site.
You didn't know about it?
My tractor and trailer was literally stole
Seriously?
out of that site.
Did they ever find it?
Got the tractor back.
Never got the trailer.
Don't think they get the trailer, and it was loaded with tools. They'd loaded stuff with it. Oh, they were able to follow because it had two odd tires. It had an odd pattern, and one side to the other, so they were able to follow it through the site to see where it went out, and it come back. They threw something in just to the right hand of the dash, and that it scored. That was my 130. She was stole out of that site. I remember turning in the morning, no tractor there.
So you, what age were you then when you were working for Davy Porter?
When I started working to Porter, I was at uni anyway, so I had started uni. So what age do you start uni?
18.
Belfast. 18 then, we'll call it 18. When I called out to see him about doing this, or about work, I mustn't have done it in year one because I was taking a bit of time out. I just can't remember. I literally get a taxi out to him, and he had FX harvesters at the time.
Yeah.
I get a taxi out to him and jumped up and says, "Hey, I'm at uni here. I'm going home in the train and stuff, and I was going to get a wee car, but it would make so much more sense." And he says, "Yep, I have plenty of work," and I worked to them for years then.
Had you
Loved
done any, like, did you, your uncle's a farmer, has the farm up there?
All of my kind of family's farming, yeah. So I'd have been working too. I call it reared by a cousin actually of mine. A cousin. So Sam Crest's sister's husband.
Yes.
I would have been like, I was like page boy in their wedding, and honestly, like, that man reared me. That man proper reared me.
Had he a
like,
6810?
he got the 6800 that I drove. So I would have started off on a 2650, 2140 two-wheel drive round cab, the 2650 the
SG2?
yeah, and a 1640 with the old, what cab was in it? The door came round the wrong way.
Not
the old
Duncan
John Deere cab. Don't think it was a
no.
Duncan cab, like, but it wasn't that maybe far off it. And those would have been his three tractors, and then he went, I don't know what happened, but he went clean off the Richter scale and then bought a 6800. Bearing in mind 69 didn't exist then. And she was one I think Greenmount College had been using, or they'd done training on, and he still has her. And so that's where my real love of the deer came from, working to him. So I'd have been lifting all the silage and doing all that.
So you were doing all that anyway before you went to Davy?
Milking cows for him, and done bits for him, good bit. So there's a contractor up there, was James Richmond, Jimmy Richmond. So he bought 7810, which is currently a couple of miles down the road.
From here?
7810, Eddie McErlane's.
Eddie McErlane takes my ground.
Eddie McErlane's 7810 John Deere. I drove first, boys, just saying that. That came from James Richmond up in Bushmills, just to draw the acid around that sprayed off all the daffodils and stuff. That was a big thing years ago.
Edward doesn't really. She did a bit of the mowing. Edward's trying to keep the hairs off her. Edward used to do her silage back in the day when my dad was living. Edward and the brother Jared, they done her silage whenever Dad gave up doing it himself, and they came in with all the deers. And I can remember whenever they had like the 6810, when the 6810 came, it was like, oh my God,
this was different, yeah. Compared to like a 3050 or
they had a 3650 and a 6400, and the 6400 was a modern tractor at the time, and then a 6900, but the 6810, everybody fought for her.
See, I would have knew them boys a good bit too through Eddie Gamble.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So they were all tied in a wee bit, and I'm sure there's another guy here, he's no longer with us, I'm pretty sure, Adams. He's gone a few years. We'd have done bits here. Like I'd have been chopping with Eddie's harvester up this road all the time.
There's maybe a chance. Maybe you would have, because my dad and David Adams were very, very close.
We'd have came and done whole crop and all first header and all. Back in the day, the old 6850 and all. I'd have been up here all the time. And then Kevin.
Which one? Scullion? Aye, Waiters, just up the road there.
Just up this road.
Eddie Gamble done maize for him one year.
I think I would have cut it alright.
That's class. So you know exactly where you're at.
Oh, I know where I'm
You're
at
only Portnown
here.
anyway.
I only live up the hill there, but yeah. So Eddie would have been doing bits and pieces, and then Mulholland.
William.
Aye.
He used to do your silage.
must have done
He
bits.
he was the first man about to have a self-propelled. He had a self-propelled, but no one had a self-propelled.
So, like, that's how I'd have been floating about in and around here. And then now we do a fair bit with your specialist group. You know, their charity work. And
Hey,
all,
they were
so-
good deals for their own too.
They were very
special.
Well, would I
Would
tell you a wee thing? They're a good outfit.
Kieran and Bosco.
Work hard, play hard.
Hey, that man. Hey, see, to be fair, right? Kieran and the rest of the crowd. Like, look, Kieran knew my dad very well. Kieran would have been in with Edward whenever Edward was doing the drawing on. Edward and Jared were doing all the work for us. Kieran was in the rental, helping draw out
The
and
Reynolds,
stuff.
yeah.
You know, like, because they have all the classes now. But
Eddie had all the cane tillers and all that.
yeah,
I drew grass for one evening as well.
Kieran.
Eddie
Letter-
they used to do all the monastery and all, didn't they?
Yeah, that's now going to a digester.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's what.
Never covered it. They just tramped it in with an old dozer or something, as I was
something
always
like that, I
told.
think.
Some old story like that.
I think so. But Kieran, like, you'd see him out working, CEO of company, specialist group,
Do you see?
and then comes and jumps in a harvester.
Hey,
Fair
boys,
play.
Let me tell you this. Wee story. This has to be said. A few years ago, so a few wee things I've done as well. I've done a few like make a wishes. Oh, boys, they kill you.
I would say so. Aye.
Anyway, can't get emotional, but anyway, we've done a few bits and pieces, very personal, and I had always sort of tried to handle the most of my own. I introduced Kirsty, did one with me, and this other great family we met from Cork, West Cork. I was heading over to drive at that point, and I met the mum and the dad, Ricky's mum and dad, and I was just chatting to them, and anyway, and that's where my 110 is.
Yes.
That family bought.
Jeremy told us about that. Jeremy told me about that. Yeah.
Real nice tractor, real clinkers. They asked for it, and I said absolutely.
That's
Anyway,
right. Jeremy told me that.
But the connection with specialist group. So Kieran would ring, "About you, big fella," and we'd be chatting away, and he was just a wee bit like, "What's wrong? You're not your cheery self." I was like, "Ah." I explained a little bit about what we had done, and that's going to sound weird. So the backstory is, I met Ricky. He was maybe 14 at the time, and all he wanted to do was he troubled with cancer, and he was going for treatment in Dublin on the way down, even further, like way on past where we were.
Like Castletown, Bearhaven direction.
Heading on towards
Skibbereen.
Skibbereen, out a wee bit in that direction, and you know, there was a big journey for them, you know, going up, and what he really wanted was, he loved the 110, he loved his fate, and what they really wanted to do was come and spend the day with us, but I felt it was a wee bit too far to travel or whatever, so I made the suggestion. This is why I have some of the best business mentors, and this is anyone starting out in business, get the right people around you. Country Crest, so Michael Hoy,
Yeah.
and his brother Gabriel, but mostly Michael, absolute legend to me. I nickname him the Godfather. And I rang Michael, and I says, "Michael, young lad," I says, "could we meet in the middle, and we'll organise whatever, I'll organise a hotel or whatever, but you know, show tractors or whatever." So we did that. Oh, we fell at a great time. Then COVID hit, so time passed on. So to cut a long story short, fast forward to Tullamore Show a few years later, and I met the family again. I didn't realise at that time there was a squad of them. There's daughters and wee Ricky.
Yes.
And I knew when I seen him. He wasn't well.
Yeah.
And sisters had basically come home from wherever they were. I think one was in Australia, one was in, and he was just at the stage where
I know what you're going to
to
say. Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
So
yeah,
then
yeah.
I had a good chat with the family, and I says, "Look, is there anything we can do?" And Ricky says, "Take me to see New Holland's getting built."
Positive.
I was like, took the eldest sister's phone number or whatever, great girl, and I was like, I can make this happen. But time-wise, what are we looking at? We're talking weeks here. Like.
Yeah.
So he was coming to the ploughing anyway, and it was all organised. The Farmers Journal had got involved, I think, at that time and all, and it helped facilitate getting him in and out of the ploughing. There was only so many stands he wanted to go to. Ours was one, and whatever other stand. So I had been on the blower, spoke to New Holland. We'd done the things. That's why I don't run anybody down behind it all. I'm a dear man, but I love my New Holland Massey or whatever. I rang, and the boss man at New Holland, it was Pat and Mark Crosby at the time, and they basically were saying, whatever the big man wants, let's make it happen. He's been very good to us. Well, I've done 2 Make-A-Wishes at Basildon as such. This wasn't a Make-A-Wish because we didn't need to use them. We really do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And flew the family over. I said to him, right, flew the family over, and anyway, we had a great time at the factory. Very ill, had to go for an afternoon nap and whatever had to be done.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
had great
of
crack
course,
that
yeah.
night. We played cards, believe it or not.
Some of the best
And,
crack you'll have is playing cards, to be fair. Savage
but I
fun.
didn't realise I won them that whole thing. I went 10 pin bowl, me and my Ruth, we were sort of in the afternoon, there was a wee fun park thing, and I won these tickets, like going to the Jet Centre, and I got these cards. Anyway, we got the whole family together that night, we started playing this game. Well, hey, big man up there wouldn't let me win for the love and their money. Hey, I couldn't win a thing. And the family said to me, that's when I realised the importance of being there, because I thought just organise it and step back. But what I realised that night from chatting to the family is they said it was one of the most normal that they'd felt in a long time.
Just sitting there having the crack, laughing.
And that maybe was more important than the trip.
Everything
To the
else could be
factory.
put to the side and they could
I was
just
learning
be
this.
themselves.
So the wee man was going to be 16 the following Monday.
Yeah.
Now, look, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but we weren't sure if he was going to make it to Monday. I says, hey boy, you're 16 on Monday. There's time for one more wish. What are we going for? And he says, I want to drive that 11090 from Country Crest that they've done exactly the same as yours. Because when he was down, he couldn't drive or whatever for insurance purposes, etc., etc. So I was like, no bother. Got home. Michael, can I take that 11090 down to Court? I'll take it down in the lorry for these guys, you know, for his birthday, hopefully, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Kieran O'Hagan, telling him all this. What? Not a chance. Or Sean will fly you down.
I had a feeling that's where it was going to go. Yeah.
So here's Ruth and I, and Sean O'Hagan. They've went and hired their helicopter.
Sean
to
just literally lives about 200, 300 metres up there.
do whatever they do. Helicopter, gathered up, down, flew down, lifted Ricky, Mum, Dad, flew us up to Michael Hoy's. The rest of the family travelled up,
Yeah.
and oh man, he put that 110 through the gears like you never seen. And Michael Hoy, and that is CEO of a proper big company.
Mm-hmm.
The whole birthday cake organised, whole tour of the tractor collection. What a day. Sean O'Hagan was blown away by it. He was absolutely blown away. And then, sadly, we were at his funeral
It was
shortly after
allowed
that.
that would be the case.
But, you know, that's the O'Hagan family.
Oh no,
That's the specialist group.
Good people.
They
Good people.
are unreal.
You'll meet Kieran in the Jeep. Hand up.
Like, yeah, and to be honest, you know, you're at the point there where you're like, I can't ask Kieran because he's just going to make it happen, you know.
Kieran's boys, so there's another fella takes the silo and takes a couple of sheds here. Like, I suppose, quick rundown on the way we are. My dad, dairy farmer with 250 head or whatever, own 70 acres, rented another probably 120. As you know, my father lost his life to cancer. Everything was put up for rent. I'm starting to take a bit more ground back. Edward takes the ground, and a fella up the road takes the sheds. Kieran puts the silage in. So Kieran's boys been in this yard steady, like.
Oh,
so
yeah, very good.
We're all connected. And I'd say, Kieran, you'd meet him on the road, he'd put the hand up, and then whenever Kieran was the first person I reached out to, whenever I first put the thing online for for going till starting this whole charity thing for Marie Curie, and I goes to Kieran, look, you're the first boy I've reached out to. I want to get some companies on board. Kieran went, I remember what your dad done for me. No bother. And that was that.
I can hear him.
That was
Top man, top family,
good
top
people.
company,
Good people.
top company. Their Christmas project, Santa, is phenomenal, phenomenal success. And look, I just hope we're some small part of it. We try, you know, we go every year and we do a bit of a video to promote it for them and all that. Like, but it is some gig, like some gig. But anyway, yeah. So that's yeah. So when you do those sort of like meet families and you really get in, it's tough, like
100%.
And every so often we do lots of visits, lots of sick kids or whatever will come and see us, and I love that. But every so often, as we Ruth said, I was listening to her explain it to someone else, is actually what made my ears pick up, because I think she just worded it perfectly. She goes, every so often there's just one that captures him. Really captures him, and he's just, and yeah, we've had it, you know, we've had a few, all right, like, and I get exactly, you know, it's just the way she's just and but she was like, we would have to, I remember her saying, but we would have to protect him because it's hard on him.
Yeah.
It's hard on people doing things. I tell you, you see, you're talking there about your Marie Curie and your nurses and things that you're raising them. They're our angels.
Yeah, 100%. My fiance, her grandfather actually shares the same birthday as your mother, and he passed away there in November last year, and the Marie Curie and all were out with them as well. So Beck obviously came on the trip as well. She was in the Amarok, kind of like supervising her and Adam, and she was all on for doing the run too, because again, Marie Curie done so much for her grandfather. Done, your mum used to work for him, kind of as well, like.
Mum would, suppose you'd say, a freak peeing every so often. Nobody could get to the bottom of it. Eventually, I think it went private. Rare form of cancer, slow growing, could keep it under control. Whether something went wrong during it, I can't mean exactly, but then it spread, deteriorated, a few other complications happened, and then April 2015. So I suppose it was whenever you had said at the time at the start of the year about chatting to yourself at the model show, which I came in quite late too because I had milk cows.
Usual.
But
there's always one.
Yes, of course.
Or in the late one.
But then the whole momentum got behind it. Like, funny, I never said into the family that there's even this thought was had as soon as I sort of half got the go ahead that
you just
they would
made
be
me and a
covered
boy wouldn't say a while lad. You'd keep your cards fairly close to your chest.
There's a reason why he's known as the quiet one and I'm known as the loud one.
That doesn't mean you'll give a lot away either.
Just don't throw a drink at me, then I don't shut up.
Oh, you're one of them. As long as you don't go fighty.
Oh, jeez, no,
he's a lover. It's like, Conor, I love you, but
Is it like was it the Big Bang Theory? What do you call your boy Raj? Is it Raj that can't talk to girls
until he started drinks and then he becomes a womanizer? Yeah.
Well, hello.
But
exactly
I know, like, I never even said to any of the ones at the house, and then as soon as you put out the Just Giving and on Facebook, it was, when did you think of doing this? But I think they had maybe thought of, look, for the 10th anniversary, maybe do something, but here, to fucking raise as much money as we did.
We sat at, whenever we got the first, at the very, very start, whenever we got it, and it, like, I think within 24 hours we were up to £1,200. I turned to Conor and goes, hey, we could get 10 grand out of this. She's like, Conor, we could get 10 grand.
I can mind saying to you and here in that very night going, look, I'll be completely honest, I don't know what way the weather's going to be like, you know, around that time of the year. You know, probably the tiders at home, there could be ground sold out or whatever.
Northern Ireland, like.
So you never know what could be happening. You have the bit of relationship built up with Gareth. what's the chances you think you actually would maybe land tractor and trailer? But it's obviously asking brave bit. And see the fucking relief in my face whenever you said the message, you can help. And I was like, thank God, honestly.
Do you know what? What it's something, and I think this is actually kind of how you seem to look at it. A lot of people have come to us and gone, well, what are you doing next year? What are you doing? And truthfully, I don't think if we did try to do something again next year, A, it's a lot of stress. B, I don't think we would get the same. I don't think we get the same thing behind us. It's if you did it every year, people would go, well, if I give them 50 quid last year, I'd give them 100 quid last year.
Yes and no. I've looked at, so when we were raffling the tractors, somebody had given me at that time and said, look, do something maybe like 2 years and then move on, something different. We went a wee bit down the route of trying to get behind a lot of other people and
that's
do
what
things
I
like
want
that
to do.
To encourage others,
Yes.
you know, so, you know, yeah, look, we can be realistic. You know, there's a cost involved in lending the tractor and doing
course.
all of that, right? But there's not. I'm not meaning that tonight. But I'm just meaning I am blessed that I've had a good journey that has put me in the position to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You were blessed that you had the time to do it. So if in life those two people can't meet and shake hands, what's the point? Like, I can't drive 16, 17 or whatever number of tractors I have all at one time.
Yeah.
But if you can and do something good with it, hell yeah, that's what I'm. That's what I'm here for.
My thinking was I'd rather help someone else.
Has to go behind Oliver next year.
Put it behind my 110.
Oh, aye, yeah. We'll put it behind your. We'll put the Pottinger behind your 110. We have two. Might buy a third. I need a Mengele. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Mengele, I think.
Mengele. If you're a German, dear knows what way you pronounce it. For they still say Corona. I'm like, no, it's Crown. All right. Let's be proper, lad.
They say Porsche as well, but so.
Aye, Porsche.
Yeah.
Aye. But, no, so, yeah, sum up. Because then I'll have to ask you another couple of questions. You boys did a brilliant job.
Thank you very much.
I know
Thank you very much.
you are asking the questions normally. You did a brilliant job. You should be proud of yourselves. Don't think about next year. Just give yourselves 2-3 weeks off, right? And then make a decision. I think you maybe should do something next year again and then cool it. But because you've got the bit of momentum, but make it bigger. Now, I'm not saying get involved with us, but do something with the likes of us. Get a wee bit more. Maybe could have something a wee bit different tied into it.
It would need to be something different.
Aye, or something a bit longer, or whatever other way we could do. Could we could chop grass in every county in the way down, or we could do something.
Yeah.
Aye, like. Yeah, look, and I think it would take something like that, but again, I think way it'd be was...
But we'd need more time at it.
Yeah, and it would be a case of a joint thing as well, and I suppose it's taking that to another level and building, I suppose, on maybe that relationship or whatever. That would be class. As we say, let's not put too much pressure on ourselves to think about that right now, but look, I think we'd both be...
I'd just get Ruth to organise it.
She terrifies me.
If Ruth milks my cows for fucking whatever, that's 100%.
She'd love to. Well, we got her milking in New Zealand there, and she got pooed on. It was very funny.
I've done guards, so you can't get pooed on.
It's actually true, actually. His partner's actually pretty neat. Like.
No, so yeah, we just coming back to life for men, particularly men and ladies out there. We're not good at opening up and talking. My drive this year is to normalise that it's okay to be down a little bit.
Hence the delivery on the JCB.
I think I've been a little bit flatter this year. Like, things happen in your life. You get older, things change, worries set in, different things happen. And I think I'm someone who runs it. They talk about fight or flight mode all the time, and I think I'm in fight mode the whole time.
Yeah.
And I just...
Reactive rather than proactive.
My body, you know, I'm hitting the mic here. Top. You have to remember, my whole life has been turned upside down with getting hormones that it's never been used to, with everything been levelled out. And whilst there's the really positive side of 8 stone down,
Yeah.
8 stone 4 pounds down, actually. We're heading towards
4 pounds make a difference.
We're heading towards 8.5. I wanted to get to 8.5 for the ploughing, but there's a lot of changes. And you know, there's highs and there's lows, but then I call that passion. You know,
True, yeah.
if you're
You can't always be
if
good.
you're dead level all the time, neither up nor neither down, whereas I'm on a high today, I can be on a bit of
You're
a
in
low
a bit of a
tomorrow.
sine wave, nearly like up,
You
down,
know.
up, down, up, down. But
That's fair, getting an elbow in the face there.
That's true passion. Passionate people, I think, are like that, and that's me.
you're just heart in your sleeve a bit.
Yeah.
Aye.
I think
like that
so.
too.
But I mean, look, in terms of Grassmen and my role within it and my teams, what we do, it mightn't be to everyone's pleasing, but you know what? That doesn't bother me. When I was stood last week, knowing I was one of the first people standing looking at the new class harvester, I felt pretty epic.
That's class. Pardon the pun.
That was, yeah.
And the John Deere as well. But
Boo.
the John Deere harvester, so what they have done is more evolution.
Yes.
Whereas Class is out now with the revolution.
Yeah.
Completely new product from the ground up. John Deere has tweaked their current product,
Yes.
put the X9 cab on it. Beautiful cab, by the way. Electric shut door. I mean, the door you know the way you're
Yeah,
trying
well,
to shut the doors.
especially with class, Rory's class.
You just-
70.
Yeah, just literally finger the door towards the catch in the Deere cab and she electric shuts it in tight. I'm like, but John Deere styling, they all went the same way, by the way. All these companies, Defender, Toyota Land Cruiser, BMW, Class Foragers now, John Deere Forager, John Deere American tractors more so than the European. I think that influence has to come soon.
Yes.
But John Deere hired like some top designer from BMW, and that's where all these lines and slick lines are coming in, and they've all the curvy's gone.
Yeah, it's all like
It's
sharp
all
lines.
We're all
back to
we're back to lines.
1970s style, yeah.
Defender's the perfect example, and a lot of people are like, what are Defender trying to do there? Because you've got the disco, and the disco's like same vehicle, same chassis. When I was I was changing the Touareg there. I've changed the Touareg, by the way. Changing the Touareg there, and I thought I'll maybe go for another disco. We had a disco. We had a 3, a 4 and a 5. I'll maybe go for another disco, good all rounder. This new 6-cylinder engine, 350 horse. We know they're unreliable. It's a Land Rover. It's like a JCB at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But you either love them or you hate them.
Yeah.
I'm a lover. And the new Toyota Land Cruiser, what was driving me off it was no big engine here.
And they're mental money.
Aye, sure.
For what they are.
Money.
And
They're
you don't
very
get the 2.8 or
quirky
nothing on the money more. You get, is it a 2.2 or 2.4?
I'm not sure, but you need the Land Cruiser. I mean, you talk about a Land Cruiser here, and if you had an Aussie in the shed with you, they'd laugh at you.
Yeah.
That ain't a Land Cruiser. That's a Prada.
Yeah.
A Land Cruiser to them is a V8.
Aye.
Or
like 4
whatever,
litre
you know,
thing.
everything
Yeah,
job,
Amazon
you know,
or something like that.
But they've all went down that exact same route. Sharp lines, curves all gone.
Yeah, the new line. Sure, a lot of it, I think, it's like kind of like a lot of the modern music at the minute is all there's kind of remixes of tunes from the 90s.
At a classic Clubland, only modernised.
Like all the artists are all sampling tracks from 30 years ago, and that's all back in us. And I think it is just you get to a stage where like look at electric cars. They
Sure,
look
mullets are back in.
Yeah, sure, they look so futuristic that it's kind of like and I think there's an element of people when they see the ships and kind of like like my dad had like an old Ford. They look at 7840 for example, or a Fiat or something like that, or 90 or like a 6190 Massey or whatever, and they're all
Straight lines,
angles. Now people look at that kind of with nearly like a fondness and go, Do you remember when times were good and, you know, it wasn't like 300 million for a new tractor? And now...
But hey, this is where I think people sometimes, right, so it's like an ex-girlfriend, right? So after you've left her for a long
Time heals all wounds.
But okay, well, I wasn't meaning the ones, but you tend to look back and think of the good times.
That's what I mean.
You tend to look back and you think, oh, aye, well, so she was good to her. But you maybe forget the absolute torture she put you through. You maybe forget about the hard times, but you maybe when you get away from it, and it's the same with the old times. I think when you look back at tractors, you think, look, I'm out there today, 6, 9, 10, you know, or 10x trying it out, and something just not 100% with a reverser, right? And so the odd time when you get real sticky, tear it out, grass, road up. The odd time just stop, run, just had to go out and pull a bit back, and it would wrap round the auger. No shine, no nothing, just raw, just having a go. And you'd be out, and you'd have the fingers and the nails in, and you'd be yanking at the grass to get it off the off the feed rollers, and you're just like,
I don't miss this.
Don't remember this bit, you know. I just remember sitting in the 6800 or the 6900 or whatever, just sitting in B1 and 2 and just chopping grass, and that, you know, and that's my point. I think we always look back with the rose glasses on, a bit like you look back at an ex and don't realise it. So, you know, you're not looking back. Think of some of the hassles, those harvesters, burns and things. But you see today that's AdBlue problems. Today that's electrical issues. That's stopping and isolating and unisolating and starting. But you can't compare the modern comfort and the comfort in the modern cab to the old day. Like.
But do you think it has come too far? Because, like, take a look at your TM, your 6910, your 6290, my 110. These are all tractors that even if you're not a wizard or a mechanic, you can service them yourself. You can have a go at fixing bits and pieces at them yourself. And like, if you're stuck in the middle of a field and something happens, say clogged fuel filter or something like that, there, you can change the diesel filter in the field yourself.
I'll send you the picture.
Seen it earlier.
Put it in the pod.
Exactly.
The diesel bug.
The diesel bug. Yeah. But if you were, say that was a new 6R, you know, and then maybe it's one of them things where whenever you have them like
limp modes,
or whenever you prime or whenever you say change the diesel filter, if it's something like the Amaroks, like you're actually supposed to now get you just can't turn the ignition on and prime them anymore. You actually have to go into the computer and get the diesel pump to prime itself. You're standing in the middle of the field and you're trying to do that basically with a tractor, you know, and you can't do that anymore. You're like, oh, fuck, I need the laptop here. Like,
or with John Deere Connect, and if somebody hits update, then it wipes what you maybe got done to your tractor.
In terms of John Deere, you were never meant to do it to the tractor to start. There's a fuse you pull for that one, but we'll hush in that. But yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
For 100% maps, everything. It's all. But then, you know, on the flip side of that, right? So you go to that new class, a new John Deere harvester, and as a business, a contractor can literally upload fields into that, you know, stop, go, connect, and everything's there.
Acres, dry matter,
yield map and harvest. I mean, I was in with Victor Honeyford the other day, and they were at full yield map with the combine, and what these boys is now trying to get to was such a big problem with MP&K and costs and all of that. These boys will be spreading with a NIR sensor on their spreader, and they'll be able to set up their NP&K levels wherever they want.
Perfect.
And that tractor will literally be able to slow itself down or speed itself up to make sure the exact amount that they're looking to put on. So this, you know, it might be going to cross and notice slow down here, but more on this bit, a little bit less on this bit. So I think you're right, and I think I have to say you're also wrong, and I think it depends on who you are and what you are. If you're a fairly basic stock man, all you need is a modern TM.
Yes.
i.e. all you want
is comfortable enough.
But you can't get that without the AdBlue. You can't get that. Not today. If you're buying a new, you know, you can't walk into a dealership today and buy that tractor without having these complications. And we can't really argue against these complications. We can just do things to them on the quiet, but we have to be seen as being responsible.
Yeah.
Oh, of course,
I come
yeah.
back and I completely get what you're saying. But
But you're right in what you're saying. Like, I mean, I went out there today, 1610. That was my tractor. TM was my tractor in the day. And Ruth and I, we just faffed about. And I says, Ruth, we're not going. Well, we did. We stopped to finalise our calendar, which has to go away tomorrow to print. And we stopped, but they don't let me look at it until they think they have it close to right, and then I normally go and tear it apart. And then Raz, if I'm in on it from the get-go, it gets Raz that they like my fresh ice. So today was that day, so that was the real bit of work we did today. But we were playing a wee bit just with the old harvester, and I was just sitting thinking, like, you know, it is unbelievable. Would you see with these modern, like, there's more to it than just, like, you look at that new class harvester. Like, I have no idea what money that's going to be, but leaving money out of it, like, that is some bit of kit. Joystick steering if you want it.
I seen
loaders.
that.
Yeah.
Seen that.
that makes sense in a way, but
Like, honestly, the spout's that big in that class. We could pull up your arse and we could push you from the bottom and you come out the top.
I couldn't get over actually the size of the spout, in fairness. Because they had was it yourself with a photo of a 990 and it beside it, or even in one of the promotional videos?
I think I took a few, must show you, I actually took a picture of the actual spout and that. 20% bigger. Now you think 20%'s not a wild lot, but 20%'s a brave bit. Like.
sure that.
Is it essentially
Look at it that way, like.
what Massey or ICO were trying to do with ideal combines? You know, whenever they came out, I suppose it was nearly maybe 18 months before you seen them in fields. But it was like your 10-ton capacity in the actual machine, your offloading time and that. And then it seemed to be by the time they got it to market, Classic came out where they're 1,000 series possibly combine, which was again 12-ton or above 10-ton capacity. And
You take combines. I love combines. For some reason, our fans just silage videos just hit, but I love the whole
Cue the
arable
name.
side of thing. I know it's in the name, but it's just like, I don't know whether it's just because it's slower paced or whatever, but anyway, you take there when New Holland's come out with CR11, you take your X9, which has been around now, and you take that, is it an 8900 class now? Is that what the big one's called? I think it maybe is. I think it's 8900 class now, like, and you take, these bits of kit are phenomenal. I think I read something the other night where that CR11 was pumping off 140 tonne an hour in some conditions somewhere in England there. I did read it. I just don't know where I read
That's
it, but
insane.
I promise you I read that
That's
somewhere.
mental.
That is mental.
all I can say
Says the
is
headers on
the
Don't know what was on that. Would have been a very big one. Well, I know the one we videoed. You were able to put on if you were going with the Mac Dawn. You could
43 foot header?
no, bigger.
Really?
Oh, 50?
Oh, bigger, yeah.
Like a 50 foot?
Mental.
51 or 2 or something.
That's
foot head.
crazy.
I've towed a 43 foot header, and whenever you're used to at most a 20 foot bale tiller, it's a bit of a fucking different league. Again, obviously with the steering
It's a
dolly.
trailer. It's a lorry. It's a lorry trailer behind you.
Essentially,
I put it this way,
It's
fucking
actually more because it's on a dolly because you have to take.
What do you-
There's a few feet of the lorry trailer, 45 footer, sort of below you as well, if you get me.
and like the roads around Swaffham and North Pickenham, South Pickenham, they wouldn't be much bigger than around here. Like it was a lesson, to say the least. Like at that time.
When we're talking about modern equipment, your son's 9, in say 7 years' time, maybe 8, he'll be going up to drive. You'll be hoping, or legally, he'll be going to drive modern tractors.
He's hoping to get Tina Turbo. That's his car, the 306.
Meant.
So I don't know what way the world's going to view that.
But is Duncan big into it?
Oh, mad.
Oh, happy days.
The angle I was trying to pitch at here was, we look at how modern things have come, right? When you were, so whenever
We're
15.
going to go to war, boys. So we're going back to the Stone Age. Like. We're going fighting here.
Maybe not a bad thing, but
I don't know. I was at the Welsh show beside the British Army, and
I meant the Stone Age, not the fighting. I don't want the fighting.
massive stand beside, really interactive stand. And the colonel was up chatting to me, or one of the colonels. Well, there's quite a few in the army, but colonel's fairly high up. Now, I didn't realise who he was. I didn't understand all of this crack that they were. But he was a wee older man with a hearing aid, lovely fella. And he came up to me and he said, we've been following your stand for the last number of years. We've put the big screen in and we've more interactive. I said to him something like last year, nobody wants to see an old snatch Land Rover or whatever it is with a gun on it. He says, we want to see what's going out there. It's going to win.
Yeah.
When the crap hits the fan. And they were in with these new tanks and a foxhound and couldn't see in the tanks around but they're like 500 or something of them ordered. Like it was... When I was out looking at that 1100 class forager, was sitting in the wee hotel I'd popped in the Yorkshire Dales, and the jets flying over there training was unreal, and the shooting ranges was incredible.
Daily occurrence was the training and the bangs you heard from them doing all their different obstacles. Clear skies, you could see it all. It was amazing.
My cousin lives in Lincoln beside Waddington's, and that's one of the biggest.
I think at the time too, it was 2017 when I was out doing the summer, and I think they were coming home at a stage from some of the countries from the war. The size of the planes and how low and all they were flying, like it was, you had the two fighter jets either side of the large carrier jet. It was, not going to lie, it was very cool to see. Like it was. I think cool.
There's when we did the aid run for Ukraine at the very early days, and we were backloading in a place called Astalawawalawa. So we dropped down from Warsaw, and we were essentially going from I think lorrymen talk about the bottom corridor, runs along the whole way along the bottom of Poland, from Germany right across the border. And there was an airport in Poland, but I mean the personnel that was there was, honestly, I was scared. I was breaking it. I could not wait, because I was going south and then going to the bottom corridor and then heading from lorry men will be saying, I've seen this every day, but I mean, I felt so uneasy. I could not wait to. I just
a genuine anxious
just wanted
feeling.
to head towards home. Yeah.
Well,
just the plant, boys. The fields of tents and soldiers. And it was a freaky thing, because stopped in the services for a splash of diesel and a pee, and I ran in to the toilet, and there was a massive queue for the toilet. I was like, oh, for flip's sake, there's a big queue for the toilet here. But then I realised it was all women. So I was like, and kids. I was like, all right. So I slipped up went into the man's toilets, and there was two wee kids in the toilets, right? And I was like, looking around me, come back out. I suppose at that time I'd got the pee, the relief had set, and that there. Come back out. I was like, that was all women and children. At that time, this was very early. This was only weeks after it started being displaced, and we were heading down that road, heading back towards Germany, and the amount of buses overtook us, all with this hand thing that they were doing. I know maybe opinion has changed maybe a bit now as time has passed, but back then it was pretty bad. Like, and sure, look, as we speak, talks are happening at the White House between Putin and Zelensky and whatever, and we're all laughing and joking here. What these big boys decide.
Aye.
Maps out.
It's amazing.
I don't know about the big red button, but it maps out our future to a degree.
Sure, 22 was the year fertiliser was 1,000 a tonne. Electric was double the price.
All my projects with all the steel.
£2 a litre
for diesel.
At one point, I think I got into work on the Monday, and one of the colleagues, he essentially would do a bit of contracting at home, and he was chatting that 1 minute we had got a fillet red, I think it was, say around 80p for the litre, and all of a sudden it was 150.
Aye. Dearest I ever paid for red was 160.
Like, it was hours, a matter of fucking hours, and every time somebody had another phone call, it had jumped. It was crazy.
Doesn't take many shockwaves. It's like the price of meal goes up quick, down slow.
It doesn't. And they'll try and keep it up high, because once they see boys are willing to pay for it, they'll keep We'll keep paying for it. No,
Our boat's stalled out there, boys. We can't get her in for a month. I'm sure there's a reason, is that Barnett's are one of the most successful companies in Northern Ireland.
correct. No,
I worked for them for a very small period of time.
I thought it was
Thompson's.
MERS you worked, not MERS.
Started with ABN, and Thompson's bought them over.
Thompson's,
And
that's who it was.
I didn't want to do the change. And then I slipped off to MERS Feeds.
It was MERS then.
What a company. Learn a lot with all those companies, and Morton's Seeds before that, after my degree, so I thought I better go and do something.
I was coming.
I might ask you then for a few questions on grass varieties and all that there, Carrie.
No problem. Trained in Aberystwyth at the Aber factory.
Oh, you'll know all the
I understand my water-soluble carbohydrates. I understand diploids,
I was about to
tetraploids,
say,
sugar content. I'm your man. But I still recommend ringing Davy Linton down the road there. He's the boy. I understand my grass varieties, yeah.
Gareth, I'll be honest here, whenever you just my voice went away for I've barely been talking, which is weird for a change for me.
Sorry.
Do not be worrying. I suppose I would think, and I'm probably maybe just thinking what our listeners would be thinking, I was expecting when we come on, now as we tell you off air, we don't script anything. Not one guest.
And she took it.
Apart from Ruth's actually standing behind with a cue card there.
She doesn't know I'm here.
no.
She asked me where was I going tonight, and I says I'm going to see a man about a dog.
She might have found my phone on you.
She could be funny in case I'd say the wrong thing or whatever. So she'd probably ended up coming and making sure everything was right, and I was like, oh, go on home.
I'll get her on.
Oh, she'll not talk.
No,
I don't think it. I wish she would, because that girl has got a lot of experience with us, over the
absolutely 7 years
imagine
or whatever. Yeah,
her like some girl to look after me, like.
She's dedicated her life to it.
Because I am sketchy, like, and not in a bad way, but I mean, like,
It's a savage cup of coffee too.
Would you be?
She can make.
Yes.
Would you be the type of person that would nearly like shake hands and something and take a man at his word at times, and she'd be like, Gareth, this needs to be contractual, or that kind of thing?
We've been caught a time or two, alright, yeah. Ruth's good that way. Ruth's on it.
Dots I's, crosses
Ruth's on it
T's.
too much, That's a challenge in life, and any business owner. You get, like, I have some of the staff I have are incredible.
You have a good group of ones there, like
unbelievable. Like, Dave and his team, the dedication Dave gives is phenomenal.
Unreal.
The dedication Ruth gives, But even at that, there's Dave and his wife now, and even Dave's mum. Like,
seriously?
She's in there as well. Like, they're
proper family
great
affair.
team, yeah. And here, listen, I wish I could I should name everybody, because we're very, very blessed with a good team, and we're trying to do lots of different little things, and but in terms of keeping me to a degree on the straight and narrow, hands down, wee Ruth, she's a good one now. She takes no crap.
I know. I got that vibe very, very quickly from her.
But by the same token, she gets stuff done, and we give you the shirt of her, and we give you the shirt of her back, or Chinese, whatever.
Yes,
correct.
Yes, of course,
Whatever it is,
fair.
that kind of way. But here, life changes too, and. That's what I was saying. Like that, we haven't had a weekend off. I think this was the only weekend off we've had in a long time. Like, it's cruel. Like, at times.
As tight going, and then the ploughing. You'll have the ploughing, and might be a bit quiet, and then Christmas.
The only thing about Christmas is, whilst it is mega busy, and you really have to come and see it in full swing, you're at home.
Fair
True.
enough. No real
True.
travel.
And any travelling is kind of, so
localised.
I don't know. I'd say Ruth will probably. I don't know. She was talking about it the other day, just for example. So she's probably looking to maybe likes of Agritechnica or something. She'll probably organise, and we'll disappear to that, and she'll have whatever, all organised meetings and It'll be a wee itinerary up here someday. But that's slightly different. Yes, you're shattered after going and walking all those steps or whatever.
Different kind of.
But it's a different kind
of busy.
It's more relaxed. You're tired, but it's more of a relaxed setting because you're there representing, but you're not there working.
Yes.
I understand exactly what you mean.
You still will be stopped, and it's amazing who stops you at Agritechnica. And it's amazing. Like, there's a group of young lads stand out from the last visit there, from Finland. And their English was better than Jeremy Holland's.
Oh, that wouldn't be hard.
Well, it wouldn't be hard, to be honest with you.
No, but I mean, genuinely, it was
They speak class English.
Unbelievable. And, you know, to sit and listen to those guys and talk about their passion for our brand from this little country.
It's unreal.
You're a wee bit like, this is
That's
mind blowing.
class.
So, and, you know, to speak to the big players, the machinery manufacturers, and you go to a show like that and you maybe get taken into the bit of a boardroom or a bit of an office and, you know, talk to and
given secret information.
And,
Yeah.
you know, that feels good. Now, I know a lot of people think I have a very bad business model and I'm very stupid that don't charge people for making videos or don't do anything like that.
But you get it in other ways.
Don't charge for personal appearances or anything like that. I'm just like, no.
Oh, we'll get you the brown envelope after, by the way.
You know, but you know what I mean? No. No, but
Did you put anything into it?
a lot of people do
Monopoly
believe.
money.
Mind me to check my Jeep. I have €100 in it that you left in the TM.
Sam Cole left.
That's right, yes.
Aye, we'll add that to the total.
That
brings us up to 20,500.
So I basically woke up, I think it was the Monday morning, woke up, and the first thing, whenever I was chatting to Gemma, we were chatting away anyway,
Jeep.
and I went,
I think it's in the Jeep.
the first thing went, shit, basically, you know. Because obviously if someone has been generous enough to leave something for you.
But you're tired and your head's not, you know what, that these things happen.
Aye.
These things happen. But no, so that's the story. So yeah, class. Agritechnica this year is going to be brilliant, by the way. And if you're into farming machinery at all, I think this is going to be one heck of a good year to go.
Only I have too many weddings, as you suggest.
I would.
Boys, I would still go if I could, hey, because
I have no days off from work. No days off. I'm getting married this year.
I'd love
3 weeks
to get
migraine. Bad migraine.
That's what it is. John, I can't come in. I'm sick of
the busy.
Sick of the busy.
Kilt. But because your obviously class is going to be making a big song and dance of the new Forager.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are in the background, I think, upgrades to tractors. Whether we're going to see at Agritechnica, I genuinely don't know. I know sometimes I do know, and I can't say, but I genuinely don't know. I just know what I've seen leaked online.
On a personal note, obviously there's a bit of a Massey man in there other than the New Hollands, but like I think, I've sort of been holding off thinking that they're bound to release something with closer to an 8S cab in the smaller ranges, and I would have said that this Agritechnica would have been a good opportunity. Whether that happens or not, I don't know.
I'm not sure what Massey's plan is, but I think classes are working on something now. It might be a top-down approach. It might be like a 900, 800 coming down. Because tell you what, class have really got those 600s and 660s and all. Good tractor.
They've
especially now.
They've nailed obviously in the early days they nailed the John Deere engine with the head gasket problems and that, but
and the Massey gearbox.
The Massey gearbox and them supposedly the solenoids reduced the delay between your ranges.
They said that they changed up.
Sure, when a John Deere went for its famous head gasket problem, you went and got one off class.
Because it was a multi-layer steel one.
MLS.
It's just, or when you go for a Vario or you go for a ZF transmission and a John Deere, it's tied up with John Deere, so you order the bits off Dutz. There's ways and means around it all.
But Gareth, I'm conscious that we're literally had it clocked for a certain length of time on the camera, and then we're running it in memory because I wasn't smart enough to put a bigger memory card in. So
Wow. We can talk.
we can talk, and that just means you'll have to come on again. What I was trying to say earlier was, I think myself and everybody else probably thought that this would be a conversation talking about silage and more silage and grass and what's your favourite harvester and all this and that, which we didn't talk about any of this. What we actually talked about, I think, to be truthfully honest, is much more important. We spent the first probably hour of this conversation talking about personal struggles and talking about all that. And I don't, whilst that's maybe not what people are expecting to hear, I think that's what people should hear.
To be honest, I've said very little, but I'm not going to lie, Gareth, I'm blew away by your story. And if I would rather sit and listen and let someone say their bit and take it in and process it than butt in. And
I just hope that the reality here is there's others out there struggling. There's men and women out there that will watch this that are struggling to have families that maybe won't be able to have families. But all I'm going to say is I grabbed it by the horns and went and tried.
You must have played in words, or you should have said grabbed it by the gonads.
Oh no, they were well and truly grabbed me. It's like the dog. I was sent on the doctor. He said to me, he says, if I had my hands on you, he says, if I had my hands on you, he says, I'd make some job of you. And I literally, at my eyes, I was just looking at him. I says, Doctor, we've only met 20 minutes ago, and you've got further than any man has ever got. I says, if I'm honest. It was like, these like, I don't know, these big double glasses. He must have been blind. He just looked like over his glasses at me, and I was like, well, like, you know what I'm saying?
I would have said, he probably looked at you and thought, oh, you're good for a poke.
Gareth, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and we're so grateful that you took the time out of your
definitely.
But by the same token, boys, be proud of yourselves. And you know, I'm very proud of the journey that I have came on. I'm very proud of my team. I'm very proud that, you know, I stand by the few basic things that decisions I make in my life. I'm a great believer in take my time, make a decision and go with it, and empowering others around me. And I try very hard to empower my team to run my business for themselves and me. You know, it's our business, and I say the same to you boys. Like, it was all a dream, and as Cammy says, we're the OGs, and I get that. You know, we started out in the early days, and our business wouldn't have survived if we'd have stayed doing what we did in the early days. So we had to come up with different ideas.
You have to, and
we
it's
had
going
to adapt. And we don't know what the next, you know, we have to make more changes now. We are talking all the time about what do we do different, or do we do different, or, you know, so don't be afraid to drive on at it, and, you know, look what you managed to do yourselves. And, you know, a couple of tractors. Sure, what was it at the end of the day? And look at the money you raised. But it was heart, and it came from the right place. And you see, if you do charity work with the right intentions, I believe it always works out.
I would be inclined to
There's
believe.
a lot of people do charity work to say they've done charity work, and that's one of the reasons why I couldn't cared less. Nobody ever knew I lent you that tractor and trailer. I didn't do it for that. Granted, the big Grassman sticker does give it away, but
and we ranted and raved on about it for as soon as we...
And you didn't need to, by the way, because I didn't ask you to, but I'm just saying, you know, and like whatever you're doing next year, like I'm in, whatever we need to do, you know.
Well, it probably obviously means
10x
nothing to yourself and that.
Here we go again.
But you've no idea, I suppose, what your brand and what you did whenever years ago, what it was like for us watching.
We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the likes of you and, like, let's be honest, John as well, back in the early days. And as I said, like, look, Farm Flicks as well with John, we've a lot of respect for them as well.
You've done a lot with John, like the On the Pull and all, and that's, you're big into, you know, and that's you know,
I love that. We love that.
Super event, and
love it.
But then this year, you know, and Farm Flicks, I think this is brilliant, by the way, and people will say, but like, look at the Rev It Up Festival.
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Bring it.
Absolutely.
Bring it to this little country.
Yeah.
Bring the buzz, bring the excitement. Right, John, step her up for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Make On the Pull better.
The more events, the better.
100%. And with the right guys, like you know, John's had sellouts, the Farm Flicks have had sellouts at their last couple of events. They're rough enough weather, like. I know our we've been, in terms of tractors, have supported it, but they've had a rough gig, a rough go a couple of the days
And
with weather and stuff. But like, they've sell that out. So like, there's a few quid being made. Reinvest back into it. Drive it on. People were coming over to that from Scotland and England. Like.
Yeah. William Muir.
And even a fella from Norway.
That's right.
Yeah. And tractors, and you know, get the tractors over from different parts. That's what you want to see. Drive on, throw a few quid at it. Let's get a couple of Europe, get a 1455 over. Let's knock Big Blue and Adrian Tugwell off the perch, because that's what we need to do.
Big Blue
that's
has just
where
been,
the fun is.
Big Blue's just been dyno to at 555 horse.
What?
Yeah. You finally found a dyno fast enough that they could actually
I'll give her the real blast.
3,000 foot
3 runs
torque
as well to prove it. And 3,000.
Wow. But no, honestly, bring it on. And yeah, and I seen young Owen and the Rev. I think that's I just love that. I think that's fantastic. And that tractor pulling, you know, look. It's like anything. You get communities of people, and you wee bit of this and a wee bit of that.
You get that everywhere.
But sure, you need a wee bit of drama to it.
Yeah, drama. I know we don't need that much, but but it is fantastic. Look, I've been in some of the group chats, and there's been fallouts and arguments over hitch heights, and I'm like, hook her on and pull.
No, I'm a suckler in the hitch heights too. I'm
you see,
very much,
and that's okay, but I couldn't give it to it.
No, I'm.
Just he sent me an old video. He was for taking the sleigh home the other day with a big 85-20.
She can go like.
I brought her home for him now, in fairness.
That's right.
She's a good old tractor. She came from Alec Wilkinson.
But see the likes of something like that, in regards to horsepower and raw horsepower for doing your big power hars and that, in comparison to what you'd have to pay new for one, nearly seems as sensible to buy something along like that there instead of
100%.
Instead of it.
Some of these big players, different companies, are actually downgrading the big equipment and going for more. So Quigley's is a great example in New Zealand. They were running these 828 fence and big fence and all for 3 mores and all, and they were like, right, we need all this, blah blah blah, and they were like, changed their policy or plan there a little bit. They were like, too much depreciation on the big tractor.
Agreed.
Right, so now banging in now like 185 John Deere's and like, I don't know, what, 50 or 16 Charles Eastern Farms. I think there's an X. We were there and videoed, but I just can't remember. But there's an X9 and a couple of big 9RXs or whatever tractors, and for sale, just going to do that a little bit more work with smaller tractors now. It's the depreciation on the big ones. I think people are, and so you're right in the terms of that. Like Alec Wilkinson, he's that old 8520. He's humble money, and she can do a big day's work yet. And sure, they're only working a couple of $100 a year.
Yeah, and
then you have your smaller tractor to do your more basic
your
work.
T134 or whatever filter.
We're running out of time, everybody. I can see the big route now. I can't.
Done.
Sony. You know Conor here now.
If you're willing to send us a few bits of information, I'll happily upgrade.
I'm only joking. I couldn't tell you what's right. I'm still an Android man. Everybody else seems to be iPhone. But boys, well done to yourselves. Whatever you want to do next year, and thanks for having us on. I'm sorry if we went down a few slippery, difficult
conversation. I told you at the start, this podcast is about conversation and not necessarily.
Sometimes it's conversations you didn't mean to have are the best ones to have.
Good luck. And remember, everybody, it's okay to not be okay.
Correct.
Thank you very much, Gareth. Hey, isn't it amazing the way time works?
Yeah. So we've
5 seconds ago we introduced
Yeah,
Gareth,
but it's now 2 hours later. maybe 2 hours 9 or something later, depending how much I've had to edit out.
Yeah, 3.5 hours for ourselves.
Yeah, it's a long pod, but did you expect anything less with Gareth?
No, not in the slightest. And to be honest, maybe the conversation that people thought we were going to have, we didn't even get that length.
We don't script anything. We've never scripted anything. Never will probably script anything unless it's, we move into a different form of content, shall we say.
Or you're trying to get me to do something for a video we've only got.
Yes. Okay.
And then I still fuck it up.
We maybe script 1 or 2 things. But the main scripting really we do is, Conor, do you want to introduce this or will I? Do you know, that's really it. But yeah, for us to talk about what we talked about, mightn't be necessarily the conversation people expected.
But they are bound to have a different view on Gareth after it.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, in his own forms of content and that, he's obviously, probably most people are not unaware of some of the struggles. But I've never heard him go in depth about it.
No, typically he wouldn't, and I think, to be honest, he's used us as the forum.
And to be honest with you, it's definitely a privilege, as he's never really done one of these before.
No, he's never done anything local.
And to be the first is an honour.
Mm-hmm.
As with anybody that we do, but not gonna lie, like any time that we were landing up to get the team or anything, we were trying our best not to fanboy the fuck out of him.
I did a bad job. It was even the same. Look, we've done.
Oh,
we've fanned over quite a lot of our guests, to be honest. And here, in a way, we're very, very fortunate that as time has went on and the podcast gained a bit of traction, we're putting ourselves, and we're in a position now where
40 people listen to us, possibly.
38. We're in a position now where we can
Talk to people.
Convince some bigger names to come on and chat to us.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, yes, he kept reminding us it wasn't him or his brand, but without Gareth lending the tractor and trailer, the longest draw couldn't have happened. And again, it was an absolute pleasure. And again, like, everybody has their own niche things that they personally would love to maybe do in their lifetime, or small dreams that, like, as Emmett Sherry once said in the pod, like, the contractor men didn't realise that they were my idols, or that I thought that much of them.
You're the same. You're able to name off all of your brother's mates and all the contractors' mates from back in the day, like. So who drove what tractor on what day, doing what cut of grass in 2003?
And it's funny even seeing my brother's twins were able to write and cite off what Rory's men were wearing the year before, or due to the warm weather, lack of wearing the year before, going topless in the tractor.
Reference Ryan Heaney?
No.
Heaney loves going topless too, but
Don McCann.
But
the header that is Don McCann.
But just Heaney loves going topless too. Seen that before too.
But I suppose if you've lack of aircon, there's only one thing you can do.
Correct.
But
will we move on to the thoughts in the community?
We will, surely.
We should really get I keep talking about this, we should really get a proper segment done. If we ever do decide to go a bit more professional, we need to get a proper...
Thankfully, we're only at the start of the road, and we can go down that road. But
okay, so thoughts in the community.
I could do with getting that up as well.
I'll start it then, sure. We're waiting. First one's from Brian Muller. How are you going to top the long draw in 2026? If you had have spoke to me 4 hours ago, I'd have told you we wouldn't. I'm still kind of maybe somewhat on that, despite the conversation we've had with Gareth. You take Joe Rogers there, for example, who came and helped us out. Joe's planning on doing something pretty cool next year. I'm not going to give away what it is because it's not my place to do so, but Joe gives a lot to charity. Very, between the Mulligan's tractor on and the Mulligan's car on, and just the things he gets involved with. And I think it would be nice for us as limited slip differences to give back to Joe.
Of course.
So maybe or maybe Conor, or maybe Adam, or maybe a couple of us might join them in their whatever they plan on doing next year. And I would originally said, now for the next couple of years, if someone wanted to do a charity thing, we would be there, but it wouldn't be us running it. However, Gareth does seem quite interested to strike up some weird and wonderful wacky partnership thing, I guess, going by how he's talking.
We'll see. We'll see
what happens.
We'll see how time goes.
We'll see what happens.
Dylan Jackson. Is the next podcast going to be a 3 or possibly 4-part series? Actually, it's taken 3 parts to get this done, so yes, it technically is a 3-part series.
And possibly a 4th if you include the yesterday's video.
No, that's the first part. It is, yes.
Yeah, so we had to record it, then Gareth,
yes.
and they were recording this.
And did you get your laptop turboed? So the gigabit didn't get a turbo.
I was
strap
actually
to it.
going to take a picture, but I haven't had time. I was going to use Patsy here and get a USB lead from one side and Patsy in another lead. I might still do that and just say turbocharge my laptop.
You've in theory turbocharged your laptop with the horsepower you gained. You've got a big silver, not a gigabit. You've got a big silver, not a big blue.
Darn Finnerty, how would you upgrade the seat in the 110? And how do you like the new Moore with your guidance? Well, first of all, we never actually talked about this at all, and we'll talk about this in a future podcast when I do a bit of actual work with it. I bought a topper, 8-foot topper, basically just to speed me up. How would I upgrade the seat in the 110? Absolutely, 100%. Not do it now, but maybe early part of next year. Would definitely consider putting an air seat in. I think it would make a big difference.
You would consider it? When you jumped out in Cork, you went...
Oh, she's definitely getting an air seat.
Yes.
Just mightn't be a grammar.
You don't need a grammar.
Don't need a grammar, but I think an air seat would help.
No, you don't think you know it will help?
Well, there's still a solid old tractor sitting regardless, I think.
The air seat would take some... You see... I've always found it bounces you, the seat. You're in a straight road where an air seat you wouldn't be moving. The spring seat is bouncing you.
Spring seat bouncing me, it's firing me out of the
It's
cab.
like as if it needs adjusted. Do you know what it feels like? Like, do you ever take a pen out and the spring of the pen it's just bouncy as fuck?
Yeah.
That's what your seat's like. Your seat gives you a workout. Your tractor does not.
Yeah, that's why I have sore shoulders and neck from bracing myself all the time.
Brian Coppinger, settle a debate. I want to paint my wheels white, while herself thinks white and white looks rotten. She wants to paint them grey or bronze.
I'm a big fan of white and white, but I think there's too many spokes for white and white. I don't like white and bronze, personally. I think white either has to be white. White car has to either have white wheels, silver wheels, or gunmetal grey.
If it was me personally, white.
No, I think there's too many spokes, no.
White or...
Keep them the way they are. Silver. Hyper silver. If it was a set of like Rotatorx or something like that there, or 5 spokes like XXR 535.
I can't even talk, but if you decked her with white wheels, that already looks savage, but that would look slightly more savage.
No, white or silver.
With a ducktail spoiler on it as well.
I think white or silver is the way to go on it. Definitely not gunmetal grey or definitely not bronze.
It would pull bronze off. Pull bronze off, in my opinion. Yeah, but it would be, in my opinion, which doesn't matter too much. Maybe we would tacky if it was bronze.
That's exactly why. Maurice Hayden, the weather.
Gemma Maguire fucking hates it. Too warm. All the time.
2025's been a good summer. It's been a very, very good. I think for the arable men, it's been a good year. For the dairy men, apart from...
We're 2.5 weeks early with everything.
For the
We've
dairy...
third cut done. That is not heard of.
Yeah.
Normally we're doing third cut in 4 weeks.
And the thing is, like, hopefully boys don't get accustomed to this, because next year could be a complete letdown.
Look, it could come in the back end of the year and be shite. So just take every day as it comes. But it's been fucking.
It's been pretty good so far.
What you would prefer? It could be the Waynes go back to school and it'd be shite. Could be the first
I
of the
hope
year.
it
though.
stays good to at least the 6th of September.
Yes, yes. As long as that day is a good day, happy days.
Well, we'll plan for rain, but Mark Green has given us a gospel here, so you can start with one. Will we alternate it about, or what do you want?
Manual swapping the AS300, choice of box J60 out of a 200 or a 62 out of a 220D.
If I was going Greenfield, like starting off blank, it'd be the RA out of the 220D.
I would be telling a lie if I had a fucking clue.
But the serious good gearbox. But I have a J160. Well, it's a Danny McClellan's. It's actually Calvin Kirby's. I give Calvin Kirby a good, perfectly good working J160, and he was like, "I'll give you the one that is currently at Ali's, still at Ali's. Fuck knows when it'll be back from Ali's, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it." Oh, turboing the AS300. Nope. If I sell it, the next owner can turbo it all they want.
But then you could make a 3 and possibly 4 part series and turbo in the AS300.
I want a car that doesn't rip chunks out of the tire every time you go sideways, and something that you're constantly worried about AFR and worried about all that there caper, melting rods and all that shit. No, I want reliability. The only thing I have to worry about is the temperature hand. I don't want to have to worry about fuel pressure. I don't want to have to worry about even like the likes of oil temp and stuff, you know, or oil pressure and anything, because a standard engine, you assume, should be fine. I want reliability. I want to do a full 3-5 minute session, bouncing limiter, not a bother with the 300. That is the ultimate plan for the 300, is to be a simple car that has enough torque that she could slide Mondello in third if you pushed her, but she's reliable, rather than, because it's a VVTA 2JZ, so the rods are thinner than, well, I was going to insert a dirty reference here, like, but they're very, very thin rods, and so then you get what, 280, 300, and you've spent all this money to literally sit and watch your AFR gauge and go, oh, I hope she doesn't bend anything. Fuck that.
Why white Altezas are superior in Michael's eyes?
Did you know what a white Altezza?
As terrible as this sounds, right?
It's such a meme.
I'll be honest, like, I didn't actually think you mentioned it that much, but people are mentioning it that much for you that now it is.
It's a meme.
It's a meme.
It is funny, like.
To be fair, that has to be one of the biggest, stupidest things.
Yeah, but at the time, right, I was thinking the Sierra would be ready in no time. The Sierra got put back outside and didn't get started again to the following November. If I had had a crystal ball and knew that, I'd have held on to the Altezza.
It happens. Why 60% of the population of Ireland are terrible drivers? No such thing as common sense anymore. No such thing as patience anymore for lorries or tractors.
It's just like everything. Everybody's too impatient. Your phone has to be, and look, when it comes to phones, I'm very, like...
You are Mr. Impatient. You have no patience.
I have no patience. But I would have patience for a tractor. I would have patience for a lorry. A vehicle that I know can't go any faster than the speed they're doing, I have all the time in the world for.
The problem is now, everybody's used to now... and everything having to happen now, and if things don't happen now, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So it's probably just the fact that, like, there's no such thing as patience anymore.
Yeah, correct.
General farm updates for the both of us. Plans for 2026. Like, we Conor got up in numbers for milking, provided he's the bulk tank big enough, calving season expectancies. the way things are going, I would say no. I would like the way the farm is and the way the situation is. Probably try to stick to around 90 to 100. The milking powder got upgraded to 14 units a side for the purpose that it would be quick for that number of cattle. Like, there is a term being greedy, like, and you have to have a bit of a life too, which I don't really have much of.
Not really, no.
But in regards to probably just trying to improve everything I have,
Just be more efficient.
which is fucking hard. And as I found, you think you're taking one step forward and you get 3 steps back every time. And with the years brought different other challenges with the heat and everything, but hopefully all them challenges can be got under control. In regards to calving season, we're all year round. Around this time, I held off on bulling or serving anything for a while last year around the time, so they wouldn't be calving down now, which has been great because summer has been sort of pain free. It means you can go and do your field work and that there and not be bothered. But hopefully come October, November time, it's a lot busier with cows calving. Off the top of my head, I actually need to go and check all that there again. Just, I have been flat out with a busy this week. What about you? You going to get in the cows?
Aye. Yeah, after the wedding I'm going to buy a win animals. Spite one's telling me not to buy at the minute because they're too expensive and they have one up again. I need to buy, and I'm buying at a stage where I know I'm taking a risk. And I'm just going to try and do it. The bales are made. I'm going to try and do it all on as low cost as possible. Next year shouldn't be too expensive a year. We'll see what way things work. So even if it does come down to the arse falling out of cattle, which I still believe probably will happen, there's no doubt about it. I need to have cattle on the ground. I want to have cattle on the ground. If I can do it as cost effectively as possible whilst not compromising animal welfare, which is obviously a big one, I'll do that. And then if I'm not making profit, at least I'm breaking even. And then that gives me the money to go again, and there mightn't be anything really to buy out of that. But, you know, you're not going to be able to maybe do any extra home improvements out of that. But at least you haven't completely wiped yourself out. Because I would like to maybe look into reseeding ground and maybe going for barley from one of the fields. But we'll see what the crack is, and sell barley and sell bales and stuff. And in 26-27, could we get a limited slip differences, track day / show and chain, or even a different comp? At the start, I'd have said, yeah, definitely, this is what we should be doing. The reality is you haven't time to organise something like that. I don't really have time to organise something like that if we're trying to pump out consistent episodes. But then this year has been a very peculiar year because I haven't had a weekend free, because every weekend seems to either be a stag do or a wedding. So maybe next year things will be a wee bit more normal. I have other ideas how I would like to see the podcast go. And if you're in the community group, you'll have heard me float these ideas across. If you listen to the Reload podcast, you'll also have heard me mention it on their podcast, because I sent a voice note into Conor because they asked for questions, so I've done that as well. So there's a direction maybe next year I would like to experiment with. Spoke to a few people. We think that could be doable. So rather than going and organising track days, that takes a lot of capital. I would rather do that and maybe look to taking merch to shows and stuff like that there, and getting a wee bit of funding behind the brand because if you want to do a track day and do it properly, you want to have protection, you want to have insurance, etc, because it's all well and good pulling in and going somewhere and setting something up, but once shit hits the fan, it's a different story.
Probably show and shine would be the handiest thing out of them all.
I think a cars at the farm or something like that, but I'm mentally tied to, with no disrespect to anybody, at the end of the day, this is my mum's home.
Oh well, take
you know?
out, like, even if you found a venue and like a cars and coffee for the community or something along them lines.
I think that's how I would start. I would try and keep it close knit and keep a community thing.
But 2 people working full-time job, it's just hard getting time. I'm not trying to be so melodramatic here, but it is now 1:15 in the morning. We have talked for 3 hours nearly.
Yeah.
The brain is going.
Could 2026 be the year that Conor buys a rear-wheel drive car? No, 2026 will be the year Conor will be looking the keys to the AS300 if she's finished.
To be honest, I'd love to buy something like that, but to be honest with you, this is maybe going to cause a bit of debate. And Gemma would get me by the neck and be like, "No, you're not," as a joke, like. But I'd rather buy a Mark IV Golf than a AS200 or something like that.
Whatever's
I
for
enjoy
you.
watching people do it, and I will happily have a go. But
That's right, I keep forgetting about Project Bora.
I'm never say never, like, but 2026 is a definite no. And I've just after realising the other day that the Civic has got more character to it. Thankfully, Michael pointed it out to me. But choice.
Who's more rash, boys in the north or boys in the south? There's headers everywhere you go.
Northern boys going to the south.
The southerners, I would have said the southerners would have been nuts with more expensive cars. Like southerners, I think, will drive twin cams harder. But then there's like, say, your Gary Kerrigans, your Ethan Laharys and your Kieran McCannys that drive the absolute shit out of twin cams as well. So there's plenty of boys in the north and the south will wreck Sierras.
Well, you have them, and then you have Evenflow. I think Mike knows he would give them a run for his money.
Aye. Look, to be honest with you, there's absolute pilots everywhere and there's absolute weapons everywhere, both north and south of the border.
And thankfully, there comes the likes of King and the Cone, and they get it all out of the system allegedly there.
And as long as nobody gets hurt and everybody's safe and doesn't break any laws, sure, we're all laughing. And finish off in Hugh Bar.
What is the worst thing, Michael, that I facilitated that you were able to get covered in last night?
It would be from Mr. Hugh Bar himself, and it was a collection from his workshop in the drain, the drain sump or drain tank or whatever it was, which I believe was a collection of hydraulic oil, gear oil, engine oil, diesel, probably kerosene, coolant, and God knows whatever else. And I spent 45 minutes trying to scrub it out of my skin last night.
You know what, though? At least you were lubricated.
That's it. Well lubricated. All the joints felt much better today. Skin maybe not so much, but here.
The skin is well moisturised.
Aye.
No, sorry, as
Well
well.
lubricated.
Yes.
So, on that note, we've been at this a long time. This is another long podcast, as always, because we don't know how to stop.
It was a savage conversation with Gareth. And at least now you have all the heads up that there's going to be a very short hiatus to we get over Michael's big day. And here, think for myself, and I think anybody else will say it. Hopefully the big day goes well.
So did I, fuck's sake.
And hopefully we all enjoy it. And the next time we go on this year, I'll be like, how's married life looked?
Yeah, no, absolutely no different. There'll just be something shinier in my left third finger.
You going to wear the ring every day?
I would like to, I might wear a wee rubber band thing instead, but because I am so scatterbrained, and
It's just the fact of what you're working around all the time.
and I'm
you know?
always working around stuff. I probably will keep the ring for like work and stuff, but if I'm on site or around the yard, it's probably either a wee rubber band or something like that there, probably. But I'd like to always have the
Or you
ring.
could just wear gloves.
Still be worried about it catching something.
How?
It's me.
Enough said.
And on that note, if you want to follow the podcast, it's at Limited Slip Differences Everything. If you want to follow Conor on everything, it's at Conor.McGoo on everything. If you want to follow me on everything, it's at Michael Scullen _ apart from Snapchat, which is Scullen. It's
Do you ever get the vibe he just wants to go to bed?
yeah.
Because on that note, guys,
We're out.
all the best.
Best luck. See you later.